Hello and welcome into everybody on that YouTube stream. Thank you for being here. We just started for the day. Now, if you already know what we do here, you will we'll make the intro a little bit short. If you don't know what we do here, we just debate Trump supporters all day long. We try to keep up with what's going on in politics right now. The big thing is that BBB, or as I like to call it, the BUB, the Big Ugly Bill. And I'm sure that will come up a lot today alongside a couple other things. Now, we already have our first Trump supporter tuned in here. Their name is Christina, 47 years of age. So, Christina, if you'd like to...
46.
46. My apologies, Christina. Now, if you'd like to take it away and tell us why you support Trump, feel free. The mic is yours.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. This big, beautiful bill will eliminate taxes on Medicare and Medicaid, which helps the poor. And I just don't see what's wrong with it.
Eliminating taxes on Medicare and Medicaid? What do you mean by
Yes.
that? Because do you mean to say Social Security? Because you don't like
Yes.
pay taxes on Medicare and Medicaid.
No, I mean on SSDI and SSI.
On Social Security.
Yeah.
So that's just a lie. Did you know that? It's just a bold-faced lie. So in the big beautiful bill, nowhere is there a provision or inclusion of an elimination of taxes on Social Security.
That's what I've been told. So
Right. You've been told that it's a lie, or you've been told that it's cutting the taxes?
that is cutting the taxes.
I bet you have been told that, because I mean, like, literally yesterday, Donald Trump posted a graphic on Truth Social that said no taxes on Social Security, but it's literally just a lie. Like, it's a
Really?
bold-faced lie. Nowhere in the bill does it eliminate taxes on Social Security. I don't know why he continues to say that. And I could give you a source if you'd like, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. Bear with me here while I find a source, Christina. Also, keep in mind that I cannot hear you while you are on pause. Yeah, so for one, if you use PolitiFact, just go on Google, type in PolitiFact, Donald Trump, the one big beautiful bill will not deliver on the promise of no tax on Social Security. There you go. You could also get this from ABC News. If you just look up ABC, Trump keeps saying that the GOP mega bill will eliminate taxes on Social Security. It does not. So there you have two sources, Christina. And well, Christina actually just left. So Christina, that's not what we do here. Okay. Come on, Christina. That's not what we do. We don't just leave, okay? We have productive dialogue, even if you're in the wrong, okay? But I guess Christina didn't want to debate, so we're going to move on to the next guest, BCB. For everybody tuning in, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen, as well as Elena. Thank you very much for the first donation of the stream with $1 over on Venmo. Sorry, that's not Elena, that's Allison saying hi for today. Thank you so much for the love, as well as Gina with the $5 over on Cash App. Gina just says, keep it up. Show some love to Elena and Allison and Gina down below in that chat. Welcome in, BCB. Do you support Trump?
Hey, brother. No, I do not.
Okay, well, I appreciate you so much for joining. Thank you so much for taking something away from the content. We love you, BCB. However, we are just looking for Trump supporters to talk to. Now, the concurrent viewership has grown a little bit since I've gone over the rules, so I'll repeat them. They're pretty simple, everybody. There's 3 rules if you want to join the stream by joining the guest request. You just got to be an American adult that supports Trump, and you got to be ready and willing to debate. I have no clue what they said. We're just going to kick them. Yo, Manu, thank you so much for the 20 Canadian dollars with the first super chat of the day. Thank you so much for the love, Manu. They say from Canada, if you want us to be a 51st state, how would you feel if we took Alaska and New York? Dean, keep up the good work. I appreciate you for that love, Manu. I don't know why Trump supporters want that. It would be a very blue state. Hey, what's going on, Chloe? You support Trump?
Yeah,
You do. How old are you?
13.
Okay, I gotta kick you, Chloe. That's absolutely bad. Very bad, Chloe. Very bad. Gotta be at least 18. Jeez. All right. What's going on, Mr. Shane? You support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Great. Jenna, thank you for the $5 over on CA. Jenna says thank you for being so inspirational. Appreciate you for the love, Jenna. Show some love to Jenna down below. Okay, as well, Sky, thank you for the $10 super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much. And Hayden, man, thank you so much for the $20 over on CA, saying because fuck Trump, dude. Hayden, couldn't agree with you more, man. Let's get like 2,000 W's for Hayden down below in the chat for the very special message. Okay, all right, Mr. Shane, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Oh, shit, Grandma.
Dude, that is terrible. Don't do that ever again, please. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. I'm really sorry that you guys had to hear that. We're going to move on to the next guest here, everybody. We're really just looking for some debates. Everybody just be patient while we get that next guest up in here. As well as Condra! Thank you so much for the $20 over on the VENMO. Let's get 200 Condra W's down below. They say, Dean, you continue to impress me daily. Thank you so much for helping out my debate skills with my MAGA father. I'm so happy to hear that you've been able to apply what we do here in the stream with your MAGA dad. I hope you're able to convert him, Condra. Show some love to Condra down below in the chat. As well as a disgusted veteran with the $20 on Super Chat, saying, do you mean screwing over the veterans you claim to love and support is phenomenal? If so, make sure your kids run out and enlist in infantry in the Army or Marines. I'm back. You know what? Just for you today, a disgusted veteran, the moment the BBB comes up, I'll make sure to specifically highlight how it screws over veterans. Welcome in, Chloe. Do you support Trump? Chloe's not here. Okay, what about this? If you happen to be one of those 6.6 thousand people on TikTok and you want to come up here and have a conversation with me because you support Trump, you're an adult, and you want to have a debate, go ahead and just let me know down below in that chat by dropping a MAGA with your age, kind of like Mark did. So Mark put MAGA 32, get me up there, and I invited Mark, and he's about to be up here. What's going on, Mark? I already know you're MAGA, but what about you, Holly? Are you also MAGA?
No.
All right, I got to kick you out, Holly.
That was an
Looks like
act-
it's just you, Mark. Take it away. Why do you support the Orange Menace?
I just agree with some parts of the big beautiful bill, and I've been watching your live for a couple days. I'm kind of new to the platform,
Yeah.
but I think I'm going to say a lot of things that the Trump supporters want to say, but they really can't. But specific things that I support about the big beautiful bill would be the cut of social, the SNAP benefits and the Medicaid.
Why would you support throwing 11 million people off of SNAP benefits and 17 million people off of the ACA? Why would you support that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fraud within the system of it is one of my big issues.
It's not weeding out fraud. It's just reducing the maximum income that you could have to qualify for the benefits. So before the BBB, the idea was, well, you could qualify for like the ACA in Colorado as long as you made at or under $22,000 per year. And like maybe even in a state like California, because the living expenses are higher, it was like at or under like $35,000 per year. But with the what the BBB does is basically makes it so every state has to implement a cap of a $16,000 per year income. And if you make any more than that, you don't qualify for the ACA anymore. So, I mean, it's sending people in poverty. It's casting them out and making it so they don't qualify for these benefits. I don't think that, A, this is going to reduce fraud. If anything, it may increase fraud because now people may start lying about their income, saying it's below 16K to qualify. And honestly, if somebody's at like 20K per year, I'm not going to look at them and say they're doing a bad thing. And B, it's not specifically weeding out fraud. It's just reducing the maximum amount of income an individual can have to qualify, as I already pointed out.
I understand that there's qualifications and stuff like that, and the qualifications, it's not really high, and people that even make $40,000 a year probably could, in our economy, could use assistance.
Absolutely.
The thing that I'm saying is there's a lot of fraud within the system to where even somebody recently, just in my area, over the past 12 years, they committed $1.1 million in welfare fraud.
But you understand
Now,
that this is only going to cause more fraud. Like, you get that, right? It's only going to cause more people that deserve benefits to not get them, 17 million, and it's going to cause more fraud because individuals are going to be more incentivized to lie about their income.
Well, I think it's going to be hard to lie about your income because you still have to provide your income to them now, and they can, they could find anything out about you with your social security number. They could look
Okay.
up how much income you're making.
Okay, well,
and
you're basically just saying it's going to be
you're
hard
supposed
to
to
commit.
provide pay stubs to them.
Well, then you're just going to say it's going to be hard to commit fraud here, and this isn't going to change before or after the bill's passed. It's going to be just as hard to commit fraud today as it would be to commit fraud tomorrow after the BBB passes in the House. So why would you support kicking 17 million individuals off of the ACA if it's not going to reduce fraud and only just make people's life significantly harder?
Well, I think that it will reduce fraud.
How?
I
Tell me,
think the whole system-
explain to me how making less people qualify for the ACA will reduce fraud.
Well, what are the qualifications going to? What do you have to
I
do
told
to be
you
able to get some
a
benefits?
maximum of a $16,000 per year income in all 50 states. That's a main driver of the issue.
Well, I live in Pennsylvania. I'm sure, and in the Philadelphia area, in Pennsylvania, a lot of people are homeless, and a lot of them are addicted to drugs. And how many of them do you think are selling their food?
I'm so sorry. I don't understand what your argument is here. You're not saying anything. I want you to explicitly address what I'm saying here. Okay? I don't think that kicking 17 million people off of the ACA, right, is going to cause less fraud as it relates to the abuse of the ACA. If anything, it will cause more fraud because individuals are going to be more incentivized to lie about their income to receive benefits. So it's going to cause more fraud,
But
okay,
the-
and it's going to cause 17 million less people to qualify for these benefits. Now, I want you to very directly respond to what I'm saying here, okay? Because your last response was to say that people in Pennsylvania sell their food stamps. That's not addressing what I said. Okay, so actually address what I'm saying, please.
Well, I'm trying to address how the fraud would be minimized. So what you were saying is you have to make $16,000 a year in order to qualify, or the cap is you can't make no more than 16,000.
You can't make any more than 16K. Also, everybody in the chat, this is obviously not a kid. I stole his account. That's probably his kid.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it's really not going to cut the fraud out. Because it's really the homeless and everybody that's committing most of the fraud.
You're still not responding to what I said. Can you repeat what I said?
You wanted me to explain how
No, I want
fraud would be reduced.
No, I want you to respond to my argument that it won't be reduced. My argument for the idea that this won't reduce fraud is it's just going to lower the maximum cap of individuals that qualify for benefits from the ACA, meaning that more individuals would be incentivized to lie about their income. And it's also just going to kick 17 million individuals off of the ACA that need it to live, to survive, to be able to go to the doctor's office and seek treatment when necessary.
Well, I think that we don't need a lot of people don't need the assistance that are on it, and
You're telling me that somebody
How
making
it-
$22,000 per year doesn't need government health
I
health
think it's gonna.
insurance?
I think you're right that it could, with the cap of being 16,000. I think you're right that it could show more fraud because it'll be
Okay.
lower income people.
So it's going to show more fraud, okay, because it'll incentivize individuals to lie about their income more, and it's going to kick people off that deserve these benefits and need it to survive. You can't call that a good thing, sir. There's no way you could call that a good thing.
Well, another thing that I like about it is it should help the governments from spending more money, even though I know that they're adding $4 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years.
It is the most
I
expensive
understand
bill.
that, but-
It is the most expensive bill in American history. The problem.
Yeah,
paying for
I
the
understand that.
motorcycle.
Other bills spent more per year, but I just think that a lot of Trump supporters, we want radical change.
Okay,
is what we want.
But the radical change. What? Okay. I had to kick Mark. He said DRUG earlier, and that got a restriction on the live. So I really wish that I could have finished that conversation with Mark because he was saying that we want radical change, such as ballooning the deficit, like the most expensive bill this country's ever have, while destroying the lives of the average American and low-income Americans. I really wanted to ask him why he thinks that radical change is good change, but I had to remove him from the live, unfortunately. Let's see here. Bloot, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you, Bloot. They say keep on the pressure. I'll never let up. Thank you, man. As well as Dalton with the $2 over on Cash App, Phoebe and Zoe with the $5 each over on CA. I really appreciate you guys so much for the love. As well as Pio with the $10 on PP, PayPal, saying thank you for what you do, Dean. I appreciate you for the love, Pio. Thank you. If you want to support me, you could find my CA, my Venmo, and my PP, if you know what I mean, and the LINK in my BIO. The reason I have to spell it out is because TikTok takes me down if I don't, but I'm guessing you guys can kind of pick up on what I'm saying. If you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to support me, you could find those same LINKS in the description. Now, what is going on, Bryson? Welcome up. Do you support Trump?
So it's actually I do and I don't.
You do and
But
you
I
don't.
wanted to ask you something. With Trump, the big beautiful bill taking away all these benefits, do you think that that will encourage people to actually go out and work that can work instead of just sitting at home being lazy?
Dude, you think because there's families in poverty that receive some health care from our government, that taking that health care away from them would make them less quote unquote lazy? I think that people in this country have a fundamental misunderstanding of the aid that social safety nets provide to family in needs, because your family has never been in need, and how they actually alleviate burdens that would restrict people from going out and working.
For sure.
So the more social safety nets that a country has, the more people go out and work and scale their income. So it's we have this idea. It's called economic mobility. Economic mobility is basically one's ability to scale from no income to low income to middle income to high income. And in countries with more social safety nets, we see those countries have more economic mobility. Because when you give low-income individuals access to healthcare or low-income individuals access to food stamps, well, then all of a sudden, their immediate shift of focus isn't on those immediate necessary things that they need, else they'll die. So instead of them saying, well, I'm just going to go out and apply for the easiest job I can get, working minimum wage at McDonald's and never progress because I need money to pay for food for me and my children. Instead, maybe now that the government is helping me by giving me some food stamp benefits, I'll be able to work maybe 30 hours instead of 45 hours a week, and then spend the other 15 going to an online school to get a degree so they could be in corporate America in 10 or 15, in like 4 to 10 years. So it actually incentivizes individuals to stay in lower income brackets when we don't have these social safety nets.
That totally makes sense, for sure. For sure.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you
I
for keeping an open mind about that question, because I know a lot of people like just simply don't understand these concepts, and they'll just live their whole life thinking what you just said. So, I mean, I think I obviously disagree with that, but I really appreciate that guy for coming up here and like asking that question in a genuine sense. Good on him. I could really appreciate that. What's going on, Michael? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck, man. No, you shouldn't do that. Very bad, Michael. Very bad man he is. Real quick, before we hop into the debate, let's see here. Deanna, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. They say, I'm a disabled MD in rural America. The BBB is terrifying. I don't think most people realize what exactly the downstream will be. Well, yeah, it's going to shut down hospitals in rural America. I really hope that your hospital doesn't get shut down, Deanna. I really appreciate you for the $20 over on Venmo. As well as Aaron, E-R-I-N, dude. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Guys, show some love to Aaron. I want to see 500 Aaron W's down below in that chat. Aaron says, disabled vet family appreciates you so much. Aaron, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you and your family. I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind message and the $50 donation. As well as Catherine, thank you for the $11 over at Venmo, saying you're such an inspiration to me and I think what you're doing is awesome. You're a great role model. Love all you do. Thank you, Catherine. All the love to you. Thank you for the kind message and the $11. And then I'd also like to thank Jenna for the $50 donation over on PayPal. Jeez, Jenna, thank you. Jenna says that these benefits are incredibly important. I could not agree with you more, Jenna. Let's get 500 Jenna W's down below in that comment section, as well as Denise with the $10 over on CA, so you can keep people educated. Thank you, Denise. Katie with the $10 over on PayPal. They didn't leave a message. Do with the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you guys so much for the love, as well as Blue with the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. I apologize for keeping you waiting, Michael. If you want to go and take it away and tell us why the hell you support Trump, I'm open ears.
Yeah, I really think I'm going to like switch up your mind here.
Okay, you're going to switch up my mind here. So you're going to convince me
Yeah,
why I should support Trump.
exactly. I mean, first of all, I really wonder what kind of shampoo he's using.
Goodbye, Michael. Have a good rest of your day. Let's go and get that next guest up in here. If you're watching and you want to come up and debate, let me know down below in that chat. We'll get you pulled up. We'll get you pulled up. Okay, here we go, everybody. All right, if you happen to be one of the near 10,000 people on TikTok watching and you support Trump and you'd like to come up and debate, let me know down below. We'll get you pulled up here. If you'd like to support me, you can find my CA, my Venmo, my PP, and the LINK, and my BIO. I get 100% of the proceeds over there. They'll go straight to me, as well as I could give you a shout out and read any and all attached messages. Heck yeah, but let's try to get that next guest up here. We are truly just looking for that next debate. They've been a little bit hard to find recently. I think that Donald Trump is becoming quite the indefensible president. But still yet, there are Trump supporters, and his approval rating is persistent. So hopefully we can have some of those Trump supporters come up and debate. If you have tuned in and you like to debate, make sure that you're an adult from America that supports Trump, and go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat attached to your age if you'd like to come up now. But let's try to get that next guest up here. We got Jaden Swink loading into the stream. Let's see if Jaden going to be around and ready for a debate. Here we go, everybody. And also make sure that you're double tapping on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends. That is a really easy way to get the live to shoot out to more people, especially in tough times such as this, where we have 10,000 people watching and like realistically nobody in the guest request that is ready and willing to debate. And oh my God, I didn't see this until now, but yo, Phoenix, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. I want to see at least 500 Phoenix stuff. You said it's PHENIX. They say hello again, Dean. Keep it up. You're doing the good fight right now. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you so much. And what is up, William? Do you support Trump?
Hey, sorry, man. I just started driving again.
Okay, see you later. Shout out to Phoenix, guys. Huge shout out to Phoenix. Who will be the next Trump supporter? Why is it so hard for me to find a Trump supporter? I don't know. I truly don't know. Casher with the $4.20 over on CA saying shout out to the New Yorkers down below in the chat. Yeah, shout out to the New Yorkers, for real. Appreciate you for the love. We got Ryan loading in, everybody. Where are the Trump supporters at? I don't know where they are. They're not here, though. That is true. Hello, Ryan. And it doesn't even look like Ryan's going to load in. I guess they're scared of me today. I guess that the Trump supporters are truly scared. I mean, how is it the case that we have nearly 11,000 people in here? Nobody is ready and willing to debate. I just truly, this is outrageous today. Truly outrageous. Hello, Mr. Clean. How
Just
are you?
the transportation, they don't. He's just got.
Mr. Clean, I got you on the line here.
The RICO's what would have gave him life prison.
Okay, well, Mr. Clean isn't even on his phone, even though he was just spamming MAGA in the chat. Who knew? Oh my goodness gracious. What is going on? Why can't we find anybody to debate us? This is completely outrageous. Okay, everybody, leave the queue unless you're an American adult that is ready and willing to debate on why you support Trump. Seriously, literally leave the queue right now. What is going on, Robin? Do you support Trump? No? What about you, Carter? Do you support Trump?
I wanted to ask.
I'm going to take that as a no. Goodbye. Anna, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Saying, hey, Dean, been watching you for a while. Just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you, Anna. Show some love to Anna down below. What's up, Matt? How are you?
18.
Yeah, buddy. What year were you born in?
2006.
Oh, truly. What month?
December.
December? Do you promise that you're telling me the truth? He was not telling me the truth. He was not telling me the truth. Oh, man, where are the Trump supporters at, everybody? Absolutely unreal. Completely insane. Completely insane what we got going on right now. Completely insane what we got going on right now. Okay, we got Chris Crazy 21 loading up in. Geez, tell us why it's taken us like 15 minutes to find a Trump supporter. Absolutely unreal. Okay, Chris just left on his own. Wow, everybody. They just don't want to talk to me. Hey, what's going on, Dustin? How old are you?
What's up, Dean? I am 34.
34, and you support the Orange Menace? You support Trump?
I love the Orange Menace. Yes, I love Trump.
No, you shouldn't love him. You should hate him, just like me.
Oh, well, hate's a strong word. I don't think you truly hate him, but I understand why you think you hate him. I think Trump actually saved this country. He saved democracy. He's a big part of why we save free speech.
He saved democracy and saved free speech?
Absolutely, 100%.
So he launched the largest internal attack on this democracy when he tried to steal the election from Biden in 2020, and it's not like that's a conspiracy theory. It's literally something he admitted to in court. Come on, let's be real here. What you're saying is just complete BS.
Well, you made a good point. He did say that in court, right? He went through the court process. He went through the court procedures, and he lost. He made a claim. He made a claim that the election was rigged, as did Hillary Clinton back in 2016, right? She made that claim. It's not like Trump built up an army. Yes, there was that whole white supremacist issue where they could have been involved. And who knows? I mean, it's also just as likely plausible that the Antifa or the anti-Trump people in the government, that they could have staged up something. They could have.
Okay.
I know.
How about you ask me what I'm talking about before you start rattling off your own conspiracy theories? So I'm not saying that Donald Trump launched the largest internal attack on democracy by claiming that the election was rigged. Okay, I mean, Al Gore did that, Clinton did that, and what Al Gore and Clinton did is they took the proper legal channels to contest the outcome, and then when the legal channels told them they were wrong, they conceded. Donald Trump, on the other hand, hasn't conceded until this very day, and he didn't take the proper legal channels. Like, he literally tried to rig it back by installing fake votes for himself in Congress. It's called Donald Trump's fake elector plot. He literally admitted to installing fake votes for himself from states that he didn't win, saying that he won, and then he pressured his VP, Mike Pence, into certifying them as real while also pressuring the head of the DOJ, Bill Barr, into falsely announcing widespread voter fraud. You can't say that he protects democracy when he launched the largest internal attack on it since the Civil War, man. That is completely outrageous.
He did push it to its limits. I'll give you that. He got caught, like you said, pushing some government officials to find some votes for him. Yeah,
So he's definitely not a protector of the democracy. In fact, it's the limits, the checks and balances that protected the democracy from him.
Right. But at the same time, you can't say it was democratic the way that the Biden administration kind of treated him. No, like that was totalitarianism guised as democracy.
Oh, true.
Right?
So what did the Biden administration do to him that was just totally fascist?
Totally fascist. So they had one of their own lawyers, one of their own federal prosecutors. He got downgraded to work as a state prosecutor to attack Trump in Manhattan, New York City, where the population
for the 34 felonies.
Bro, come on! Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
I'm just asking you if that's the case that you're referring to. What do you mean? Don't give me that. I'm just asking for clarification. Are you talking about Alvin Bragg and his 34 felonies?
Yes. Those are trumped up charges.
Oh my God.
Pun intended.
Yeah. What were the charges?
Okay. Well, it was. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Dude,
but
you're making a fool out of yourself. How could you sit here and tell me that they were fake, but you don't even know what they are? Come on, you're making a total fool out of yourself.
Let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Sure, that's fine. Go ahead and finish.
He didn't have a jury of his peers. He had a jury of the opposition. It wasn't a fair trial to begin with. It doesn't matter what the charges were. He was guilty the moment he was indicted. The moment the friggin' criminal complaint dropped, you knew he was going to be found guilty.
So you don't know what the charges were, but you think he didn't do it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It was falsification of business records with a second step intent to commit a second step crime.
Right. Was that the one about how he undervalued his property or some nonsense like that?
No,
that wasn't it.
No, now you're confusing litigation against him. That was a civil court. You don't even know what you're talking about. Here's my problem with you, man. You can't sit here and tell me that Donald Trump was innocent and he didn't do what the jury said he did when you don't even know what the jury said he did. That's completely outrageous.
I'm not saying he was
imagine
innocent.
this. Imagine this. Imagine no. Stop it. Yes, you are, because you said that the charges were trumped up. Trumped up charges are fake charges. Fake charges means those in which is when the individual in which is found guilty is not guilty, thereby they're innocent. Let me ask you a question.
It wasn't a fair trial.
It wasn't a fair trial. How do you know it wasn't a fair trial? I have a feeling that you're just going to say that it was in Manhattan, therefore it couldn't have been fair. And when you say that, I'm going to point and laugh because it is the case that the jury was literally selected by his own attorneys, and the only way in which you can know it would be truly unfair without speculation is to say that the jury ruled without sufficient evidence that he was guilty. But you cannot make the claim that the jury ruled without sufficient evidence that he was guilty because you don't know what they found him guilty for, so you obviously don't know the evidence in which they used to find him guilty.
So it's not like I can't argue with too much of that. But one correction there is that his lawyers didn't pick the jury, right? So
okay. Yes, I did. So both his lawyers as well as the prosecuting team helped pick the jury. That is how criminal courts work, sir.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer in New York City, so I'm very familiar with how it works. So
if you're a lawyer, I don't believe you.
I don't care if you believe me.
Go ahead and show me your bar. Go ahead and show me your bar certificate right now.
Well, it's a bar number. There's no bar certificate. I can give you my bar number, but I don't want my public information out there.
Wait, what law school did you graduate from?
I'm definitely not going to tell you that.
I don't
It-
believe
it-
you.
it is-
The only reason why I don't believe you is
Brooklyn Law
because if you
School.
were
Brooklyn Law School
because
class of 2019.
if you were a
I'll
lawyer,
narrow it down.
if you were a lawyer, then you would know what he was charged with before you said that he was guilty. Sorry.
Well, I'm
innocent.
not that interested. I'm not that interested in so
Okay,
I'm
well,
not
if
interested.
you're not that interested in it, okay, I'm not
Yeah.
going to blame you for that. You could just like not talk about his felonies or just say that yeah, he was a felon, but you just don't really care. You care about other things more. But like the thing is that's not what you're saying. You're saying that you are interested in the fact that you think that the Biden administration was literally worse than Donald Trump, even though he's a rapist, fascist, 34 count felon that is imposing economic policy, which serves as the most expensive bill in American history and also one of the largest redistributions of wealth from the poor to the rich in American history. But you don't care because you think that Biden was a totalitarian fascist because he unfairly prosecuted Donald Trump with his 34 felonies, even though apparently you're not too interested in the felonies. You don't even know what they were. You didn't know how jury selection works in New York courts. And you don't even think...
I do.
and you think that
I'm
the
trying
Biden
to encourage you.
administration...
Let me finish.
And the Biden administration had prosecuted, no, that was Alvin Bragg. So, I mean, obviously, I think that you are going to need to reconsider your view. But, like, once again, I think that my main big point here is you can't say that the jury got it wrong. You can't say that he was innocent. And you can't say he was trumped up unless you at least know what he was charged with.
I don't need to know what he's charged with when I know the whole process is bogus from the start. Right? So,
You
so
don't
why
need to know
even
what he
look
was
into it?
charged with without knowing the whole process was bogus from the start. The only way you can know that the process was bogus is if you know that the jury ruled his guilt without enough evidence. Can you deny that?
Oh, if it was bogus, only if the jury found him guilty without enough evidence.
That is the only way you could call the process bogus. Because imagine that you're right about the jury and all 12 jurors were radical liberals. Okay?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
that wouldn't make the process bogus if these 12 radical liberals truly possess reasonable evidence beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt of Donald Trump's guilt. The process wouldn't be
Fair.
bogus. He
Theoretically.
would be a guilty criminal. Yes. So precisely. So all of your claims and comments about the jury don't matter unless you know with some level of assurance that the jury
judge.
ruled he was guilty without enough evidence.
The judge, however, was, like you said, an extreme pro-leftist Democrat super party goer, right? Hey, you're smiling because you know, all right? That's a fact.
What's the judge's name?
I couldn't tell you, but he's this old white
right.
dude that's breaking down. His skin is literally falling off the bones on his face. Like I know what he looks like. I know
Extreme
his look.
pro-leftist. No, you're just throwing words around to try to make like this rhetorical argument, but it's not working out for you. Because once again, the only claim you can make here to say that the process was bogus was to say that the jury ruled his guilt without enough evidence. Even
Let
though
me
the
finish.
judge was some radical fucking leftist that gave $1 billion to the DNC, well, it would only mean it was a bogus trial if the judge accepted the ruling from the jury and gave a sentence to Trump without enough evidence of his guilt.
But here's the thing, though. The judge could give very biased jury instructions, right? Which would make it so much easier to make him be found guilty on those charges.
Okay, so then what were the biased jury instructions?
I mean, I don't really care enough to like look in, but I will look into
Another
it.
another
I will
BS
look into
claim.
it.
Another
I
BS
will look
claim.
into
Look at
it.
you. So you don't know what he was charged with. You don't know the evidence that the jury used to find him guilty. And you don't know what the jury instructions were, but you do know that all 12 jurors were radical leftists, that in other words, bogus from the start. He was guilty from the get-go. You don't know the judge's name, but you know he's a radical leftist that gave bogus jury instructions, even though you don't know the jury instructions. Can you see that you've been conned and you've just obviously been indoctrinated into a cult?
Well, cults are fun, but however, I will say this. What about the whole COVID lockdown? Do you think that wasn't authoritarianism by Biden?
Oh, wait.
Wasn't,
wait, can we agree that the COVID lockdowns were fascist?
I don't want to agree with you on anything.
No, you just said that they were totalitarian. Can we agree that they're totalitarian here real quick?
The way Fauci drove it.
Wait. No,
Yes.
we're not gonna move off because you literally just said that they were totalitarian. Let's listen to
Yes,
that.
I will look into
Look
it.
at you. So you don't know what he was charged. You've just obviously been indoctrinated into a cult.
Cults are fun, but however, I will say this. What about the whole COVID lockdown? Do you think that wasn't authoritarianism by Biden?
So you think that the COVID lockdowns were authoritarianist, right?
I didn't say that. I said, do you think?
obviously, in asking me the question, you're saying that it's something you believe. Now, of course, that's going to be an assumption.
Biden.
However,
By
like
Biden.
I think that this would be a justified assumption. So when you ask me if I think that those COVID lockdowns were authoritarianism on behest of Biden, like you're implying here that that's something that you think that you're trying to see if I agree with. So do you think that?
By Biden?
Do you just think that the COVID lockdowns were authoritarian?
I mean, they
Can I just get a yes or no real quick, man?
well, I mean, it's not that simple, right?
Wait, so then why would you ask me the question if it wasn't that simple?
Because this is a democracy, right? This is
going on?
this is a
What is
you're good at debating. I'll give you that. You're really good.
Wait. So the question isn't that simple to answer because this is a democracy? Why are you just spamming random words?
Because I see what you're trying to do there. I'm trying to find my way out. Let's just move on to another topic.
You gotta move on before. Okay. All right. I'm a free spirit. I'll go wherever you go. Take it away.
Take it away. All right. I mean, that's about it. That's about it. I'm burnt out. I'm
Okay.
tired.
Okay. Well, then I will respond to the last point that you made. If you do think that the COVID lockdowns were totally fascist, well, they happened under Trump's first term.
They started, right?
And they stopped under Biden. So they started in April of 2020. That's when we had that near 15% level of unemployment, and then they
Wait,
tapered
April
off for the
2020?
next year.
So April 2020, that would be Biden's administration.
Sir,
His time enough.
he was inaugurated in January of 2021.
Same thing. Okay. All right.
No, January of 2021 is not the same thing as April of 2020. What are we doing?
When did they end? When did they end?
They tapered off for the next year.
All right. Well, Dean, it was a pleasure. Nice to speak with you, chat with you.
Right. Thank you for your time, Mr. Lawyer Man. We're going to move on to the next guest here. If you're in that queue, make sure that you're a Trump supporter that wants to come up here and give me a piece of your mind, everybody. So let's go to get that next guest up in here, y'all. We got John loaded into the box. Maybe John will give us a good debate, right, guys? Let's see here. Let's see. Yo, Brandon, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, and Do with the $5 as well. Show some love to Brandon and Do down below, as well as Owen with the $3 over on PayPal. Thank you so much, Owen, Brandon, and Do. Thank you guys so much for the love. What is going on, Mr. John? Do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Diaper Donald?
Fucking nigger.
And it is a child that just said the N-word. We kicked them off the stream immediately. Absolutely no TOS violations here. I automatically removed them, everybody. Let's go to move on to the next guest. I do apologize that you guys had to hear that. Everybody, just be patient while we're getting that next guest loaded into the live, y'all. Let's see who we got. We got Bradford 718 loading into the live. Also, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Let's try to get up to 1 million likes here. What's going on, Bradford? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you, Brad?
Me?
Yeah.
19.
You're 19? Okay, what year were you born in, Bradford? We just need to, verify that age real quick.
2004.
2004. Well, you actually can't be 19 born in 04, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
Bradford.
can. Yeah, you can. 'Cause I did it.
You're really bad at math, sir.
Nope. I did it.
The minimum age you could be if you were born in 04 is 20. Would you like to know how I know that?
Nope.
Can I tell you?
support Biden.
Can I tell you how I know that?
Biden shitter.
Can I tell you
Biden
how I?
shitter.
Can I tell you?
Biden-
And you support Trump. No wonder you're bad at math. So the reason why the minimum age you could be born in 04 is 20 is because I was born in 04 and I'm 20. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Just give us a minute while we get that next guest loaded into that box. And my birthday's in September, so my birthday hasn't happened yet. All right, everybody. We're gonna get that next guest up here. Wow, we truly just have children requesting in today. Wow, yeah, no, super edifying to debate. What's going on, Trump 28? Oh dear God, do you support the guy, or is this a troll?
I do.
How old are you?
19.
19. So I just want to be super clear here. You don't consider yourself like a constitutionalist or a patriot. You just kind of want to be, stomped on by the fascists. I don't know, like woohoo, like your profile picture is a constitutional violation, like W fascism, W authoritarianism, like down with the democracy, down with the Constitution type shit.
I mean, you could say that. I mean, Trump is probably one of the best presidents we'll ever get in American history.
Okay, why?
Why? Well, first of all, look at the border.
Oh, we're okay.
Policy.
We're looking at the border. What do we see that cements Donald Trump as the best president in American history?
Well, I mean, he closed down the border.
Oh, he closed down the border. So how did he close down the border?
What do you mean?
I asked a very clear question. I don't think it requires any more clarification. I said, what did Donald
Well, I mean,
Trump
he's
do
getting
to
all the
close down the
illegals
border?
out, closing the border.
Oh, mass deportation. So you think that mass deportation cements Donald Trump as one of the best presidents ever?
Yeah.
Even though mass deportation only hurts this country, for instance, it removes 8.3 million laborers from our workforce, and which contribute an estimated 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars to the GDP and pay $100 billion per year in taxes. So when you send them out, not only are you spending $100 billion per year to get done, you're also going to have to forsake that opportunity cost of $100 billion per year in taxes. So that's $2 trillion in 10 years. And then the outcome on the GDP is a massive loss of productivity totaling to over $10 trillion in 10 years. Oh, and you know what else comes along with a weaker economy with less manufacturers and less consumers to buy the goods from the manufacturers is higher levels of poverty. And you know what is a result of poverty is crime. So thereby you have higher levels of crime. You're telling me that he's the best president ever for destroying the economy, reducing the productivity of our manufacturers, weakening our labor force, and downsizing our consumer base to weaken our producers and reduce the average quality of life, to increase crime, to increase because of the increase in poverty, man? That's outrageous.
Look, man. Trump is the president at the end of the day, so just deal with it.
You just got truth nuked, buddy. You deal with it.
All right, whatever you say, Dean.
You want to try to give it a response?
Oh, I'm good.
No, come on, just try. Come on.
Nah, you know, just can't say, you know.
I mean, we're waiting. Come on, dude. You're like Trump's #1 defender. I mean, like your profile picture literally says Trump 2028. I think Trump's #1 defender should be able to at least give
I mean, guess what? Trump
a
will
little
be
bit of a cogent response to
again in
why mass
2028.
deportation is one of the worst policies ever, right?
It's one of the best.
I mean, I gave you every single reason
the
why it's the worst.
criminals
And you have
out.
nothing to say.
Getting the criminals out.
No, it actually just causes more crime. We already went over that point, and you already had no response.
No.
Right, and then also, if you care about getting criminals out, well, you put a criminal in the Oval Office, so come on. And that criminal in the Oval Office also turn around and pardon criminals.
There's no actual proof that he, committed all these crimes that you people say that he did.
There's no proof that he did
No
34
proof.
counts of 34 counts of business fraud.
Nope.
You know the
All
proof.
fake news.
The proof was signed checks from his estates that were listed as a business expense that were paid to Stormy Daniels. That was the proof. And then also, I mean, like the proof of other crimes, such as the illegal deportation of Abrigo Garcia, was literally the deportation of Abrigo Garcia. And I mean, like the proof that, it was illegal when he passed an EO that banned birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants is literally the fact that the 14th Amendment in our Constitution says that birthright citizenship would apply to all people born on U.S. soil. So, I don't think that what you said there is going to be true at all. In fact, it's incredibly false. Yeah, he just left. He had nothing to say. Caitlin, thank you for the $1 over on PayPal. I really appreciate you so much for the love. That was low effort, everybody. And then also, Brandon, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. Kendall with the $2 saying pop off girly. Thank you for the love, Kendall. Jenny with the $5. Thank you so much. In response to your question, Jenny, call your representatives. And then also Cindy, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. They say thank you for fighting the good fight, Cindy. I really appreciate you so much for the love. I want everybody to show some love to Cindy down below, as well as Bree and Vesquez with the $5 each over on Cash App. Happy birthday, Bree, by the way. Oh wait, no. So your birthday is the day after mine. Sorry, no, it's not Bree's birthday yet. And Vasquez says, for much love from Durango. Wow, well, you're actually pretty close to me. Thank you so much for the love, Vasquez. But let's go to get that next guest up with the box, everybody. If you're on that queue, make sure that you're at least 18 years old, that you support Donald J. Trump, and that you're ready and willing to come up here and have a debate. If you want to support me, you can find my VENMO, my PAYPAL, as well as my CA, if you're catching my drift, in the LINK, the link in the BIO. I get 100% of the proceeds over there. They all go straight to me, as well as you get a notification notification at the top of this phone so I could shout you out, read off your name and any and all attached messages. Welcome in, KB. Do you support Trump?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. What year were you born in?
2005, October 26th.
All right, you're 19. Wow, I wish that we had some older people up here, but you know, it is what it is. It's the way the cookie is crumbled. So why the fuck do you support such a terrible president?
Why do you vape a lot?
I don't. It's an anxiety pin. Get real, buddy.
No, it's a vape.
Okay, I'll concede you've beat me in the first debate. Let's move on to the second debate. Why do you support Trump?
So I support Trump because of the massive deportation he's doing.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm guessing that you heard that last conversation because you've been in the queue for around 20 minutes. I just went over every single reason why the mass deportation is terrible.
What do you think about abortion laws?
Oh, wow. That was a really quick pivot. And he just said goodbye. Dude, what is going on? What is going on today? Dude, dude, I gotta like stop going so hard on these people. Like they're just getting wiped today. Like there's just simply like there's like they don't even like have a fighting chance. You know, like they don't even feel like they could tangibly do it, so they just give up, bro. Echo?
Yeah.
Echo? Sorry, man, you got a pretty crazy echo, so I got to kick you and move on to selfie. In the meantime, yo, Haley! Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Haley says,
I could have
that would be a child that we got to go and remove. But guys, go ahead and show some love to Haley down below in that comment section. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. They say, spending my birthday money watching your stream. Here's a small bit of it. Thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate learning from you. Dude, Haley, that is so kind of you. I don't know when your birthday was, but I hope it was really good. Thank you for the $20. Let's get 200 Haley W's down below, as well as 100 Octavia W's down below, because Octavia sent $10 over on Venmo saying, thank you for cheering me up on this terrible day I'm having. I'm happy I could cheer you up, Octavia. Thank you for the love. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter up in here. If you are watching and you would like to come up and debate, let me know down below in that chat. As well as Shanice, thank you for the $5 over in CA saying, you are awesome. What's with this insane BBB, the big beautiful bill? Go and watch my recent TikTok. I posted like a 2-minute video explaining why it's so bad. What's up, Noah? Do you support Trump? Noah Huckabee. Noah Huckabee is nowhere to be found. Oh no, guys. I think the Trump supporters have finally tossed in the towel. I don't know if they're doing it anymore. Dude, you should see the guest request. I could just tell that 90% of the people in the queue are liberals. And like the remainder of the people that are in the queue that I can't just obviously tell are liberals, like, are a lot like him. They just come up here and they say nothing. What do I even do at this point? What do I even do at the point where we can have 16K live total viewers on both TikTok and YouTube, and I can't find one person to tell us why they support Trump? Like, what do we do? Like, I mean, have we won the war? Have we just shown like the MAGA worldview just to be completely indefensible? Have we just exposed the light? Right? Is that what is that what's going on here? Like, I don't know, man. You know, I guess the war is not over till the menace is out of the White House, but nonetheless, guys, it's definitely pretty cool to see like a total lack of Trump supporters in the queue. It's annoying because I have nobody to debate, and that's what I'm on live to do. But it's also really cool. You know what I mean? Now, if you happen to be watching and you're a Trump supporter and you want to come up and chat, just go ahead and drop a MAGA in that chat with your age and hop in that queue. But I'm just seriously not seeing anybody right now. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. Welcome in, Riviero. Do you support Trump? See, it's like, hi, do you support Trump?
Hey, I'm not American, actually.
Okay, then I got to kick you because the rules are as follows. If you want to come up, you have to be an American citizen that is at least 18 years old that supports Trump. Those are the rules if you'd like to come up and have a debate. Let's go ahead and get that next guest up in the box, everybody. Really just looking for that next guest, y'all. Looks like Charlie would like to come up. We'll get Charlie up here. I sent you an invite. Now let's go ahead and try to find that next debate. We got, okay, it looks like Charlie is loading up. Great. What's up, Charlie? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Yeah, really, buddy. What year were you born in?
I don't even freaking. Why do I have to tell you?
Okay, so it looks like there's some MAGA children that want to come up. Any MAGA adults? I don't know if there is. I don't know if there's any MAGA adults. Wow. Brandon, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Saying, have you talked about the big win in Wisconsin? I mean, we talked about that when that happened a couple months back. That was pretty huge. Thank you for the $10, Brandon. Show some love to Brandon down below. What's going on? What's up, Project? Do you support Trump?
No, bruh.
Crazy work. Anthony with the $10 over on PayPal saying that you destroy every Trump supporter that comes on, so they don't want to come on anymore. Dude, dead ass, Anthony. It's crazy. 16,000 live viewers, no Trump supporters, not even one. What's going on?
Hello?
What's going on? You support Trump?
Yep.
Okay, how old are you?
I am 19, born in 2005.
Great. Looks like we might finally have a little bit of a debate. Phenomenal. So, real quick before we hop into the
Actually,
debate.
I want to talk to you about deportation, but I just want to say though, like I actually watch your podcast and everything, and you should debate. What's that one guy on Twitch that you're calling out or whatever?
Probably Charlie Kirk. But, so I want
Yeah,
to
Charlie Kirk.
I want to talk to you about why you support Trump. But real quick before we hop into that, Maria, thank you so much for the $30 donation over on PayPal. Dude, Maria, that is so kind. Maria says, I'm not even
Okay,
American,
so
but I
you
love your
don't
work.
like
Love from
Trump
Australia.
because-
Thank you. One moment. Thank you for the love, Maria. Let's get 300 Maria W's down below. That is Maria. Seriously, thank you so much for the $30. That is so incredibly kind. So take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Just to his deportation, like deporting immigrants from this country, and I just want to let you know and look this up. Do not like Trump because of his him deporting immigrants and people?
Yes, that's one of the reasons why I don't like him. I think that mass deportation is a terrible policy, and I usually categorize 3 reasons why. The first category would be the economy, the second category would be ethically, and the third category would be practically. Mass deportation is bad. It's a failure in the category of economics because it reduces our GDP by around $1.1 through $1.7 trillion per year while costing $2 trillion in 10 years. It's a significant impact that reduces average qualities of life, increases poverty, thereby also increasing crime. It fails in the ethical category. I mean, that one's going to be obvious. We're ripping mothers and fathers that are hardworking away from their families, and we're having 6-year-old little boys pee their pants because ICE agents are brandishing weapons at them, and then we're throwing people in literal cages and quote-unquote alligator Alcatraz. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievably unethical. And then it fails in the category of practicality because it is really hard to do, and there's other solutions that we could go about and use to identify everybody in this country, such as mass amnesty, that would be more practical. So those are the 3 reasons why I have an absolute disdain for mass deportation.
Okay, will you Obama says that he wants to run for president in 2028. Will you be voting for him?
Okay, well, Obama hasn't said that. He literally can't. It'd be unconstitutional, but obviously I would. Yeah.
Okay. Now look at this. In 2003 to I think 2016, Barack Obama had deported over 3.1 immigrants, and some of them were illegally too. They were legal immigrants in this country, and he deported them. Okay. Now
it would've been
Trump
2000,
out of this
2000,
Trump out of this year in 2025 has only deported about 186,000.
Right.
Just letting you know that.
Right. So you're saying that Obama
if
did
you do not
deportations
like-
too? First, I'm going to give you the
If you
difference.
do not like Trump for that reason, if you do not like him for deporting immigrants in this country, then I think that you should not like Barack Obama and you should not vote for him for that.
Well, there's some differences between Obama's deportations and Trump's. First of all, Obama wasn't president in 2003. Second of all, it is the case that Donald Trump wants to deport every single undocumented immigrant in this country. Obama was like particularly focused on individuals with like prior criminal offenses. And I mean, this was evidently true not only through his speeches, but also through like the work programs that he created, such as DACA, which was literally a program where undocumented immigrants in this country without prior criminal offenses could get a work permit and generate an income, pay
but
taxes,
the
and support their
immigrants
families.
today,
So you're gonna go
the
and you're
immigrants
gonna
today,
listen to
you don't
me.
know their.
So, like, there's one big difference between Obama's deportations and Trump's deportations. But I will say, you know, like, for any and all undocumented immigrants that were deported under Obama without any prior violent offenses, I disagree with that too. My view on immigration is actually a little bit further left-leaning than the Democrat Party. But, I mean, if you'd ask me, well, how can I still vote for Obama even though he's going to do some deportations that I disagree with? It's because the other party would be worse, and I'd be voting for the lesser of 2 evils within that respective sense of immigration policy. So, I mean, I hope that definitely responds to and addresses your claim as it relates to immigration. I explained to you why I think that Donald Trump's mass deportation is bad, very specifically. You then brought up Obama. I gave you the very clear and distinct differences between Obama's deportations and Trump's. And then I informed you that still yet there was some deportations under Obama that I disagree with. So, Tina, if you want to go and unmute, that'd be great. Go ahead and click on your profile picture, click on the icon of the microphone, and then take it away.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, my bad.
So were you following me there? Gave you the reasons why Donald Trump's mass deportation is bad. You brought up Obama. I give you the difference between Trump's deportations and Obama's deportations. And then I even clarified that there was still yet some deportations under Obama that I disagreed with. And I could acknowledge that because my view on immigration is even further left than the DNC.
So is it like you're saying like the method, the way they're doing it, like the way they're deporting them? Or is it just
it's going to be a combination of the way that they're deporting them and the fact that they want to deport every undocumented immigrant in this country.
Okay. Now, speaking of immigrants, okay, for the past 4 years, I have been watching the news for the past 4 years, and it's nothing but immigrants and sex offenders, and you don't know their criminal history. And if you actually look
Do you
this
think that we
up,
should get sex offenders out of the country?
yes.
Then why'd you put a sex offender in the Oval Office? Donald Trump's been held civilly liable for the rape of a woman. Use your brain, bro. Connect the dots. And the funny part is like the people watching this stream are going to be like, damn, Dean just cooked him. Dean just clocked him. But no, I mean, like, it's just super common sense. You think that sex offenders shouldn't be in America, but you put one in the Oval Office. How the hell can you retrospect upon that view and not come to the conclusion that you're just an absolute raging hypocrite?
No, well, here's the thing though with Trump though. That's false accusations between with, like, how do you say, I'm just giving an example, and it's kind of off topic, but these days women can get away with anything by just saying like, oh,
You have absolutely no right.
You know?
You have absolutely no right to say that women can get away with everything, with anything.
No.
What happened today?
No,
what happened today? What happened today, sir?
Not today, but I can.
Today, Diddy got off of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Today, Diddy got off of that. They ruled him not guilty. You cannot sit here and say that women get away with anything when today, goddamn Diddy got off on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Shut the hell up, sir.
Hold on, bro. Be respectful about this, okay? Because I'm being respectful too about this. But second of all, about with P Diddy, I don't think that's true with the charges. I don't think
they
it
ruled
is
him not guilty on racketeering, and they ruled him not guilty on sex trafficking.
Well, then that's a whole fucking story right there. That, like, because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not like this Republican that goes on and just on their side 100%. I get what you guys are coming from and what Trump does wrong, but I also do the same thing with Democrats too. But here's look, I voted for Trump because you gotta how do you say? I'm trying to find a way to say this.
Wait, why are we moving on? I'm sorry, sir. I'm not going to let you just move on.
Because you're saying, you said that Diddy got off.
In response to you saying that women get away with whatever they want, and that's because, and that's your reason why you think that Donald Trump is innocent and didn't actually rape that woman. Let me ask you a question. What was that woman's name?
I don't know, but it was a couple. It was a couple of girls that were messing around, and they were there's this guy that they didn't like.
Okay, let me ask you a second question. What is one piece of evidence that the unanimous jury of 9 that ruled that Donald Trump was guilty of rape and are used to find him guilty?
I don't know that case.
You don't know any evidence that they used to find him guilty. Let me ask you a question. Well, where did he rape her?
Like I said, I don't know about that case.
You don't know?
No,
what year? What year?
You said that to me right now.
Oh, so you actually have no prior information about this woman, about the civil court case, about the jury that ruled he was guilty, but you just cast it out saying that it was obviously false, he's innocent because women get to do whatever they want and they get away with everything. You are an You are an active example of why that is not true. In fact, it is not the women that get to accuse any man of doing anything to them and get away with it. It is the men that get to do what they want to women and get away with it. And you are why. It's because you don't care. Whenever you hear about a man
Okay.
granted a woman,
I want
even
you-
if a
I
court
want
had
you after this
adjudicated
stream- I
that
want
he
you
was guilty, you just sit here and you say that he's innocent with no fucking priors. Like, this is insane. Like, I literally cannot even believe this. You're going to sit here and say that he was liable for it. A jury agreed that he was guilty of doing this. You don't even know her name. Nothing about the court case. Literally no priors until I told you that this happened. And your immediate response was to say he obviously didn't do it. Bro, look at yourself in the mirror. Very hard for a long time and introspect upon that shit right there, because that shit is harmful. That shit very, very much so pushes grape culture in this country. It uplifts the bad men that do shitty things to women, and it emboldens more men to do those shitty things to women because they know they could get away with it, just like Donald Trump. Just like him. And once again, this is all a consequence of our original conversation where you said that we need to deport all the undocumented immigrants because maybe some of them have done violent sexual crimes, and here you are defending a violent sexual criminal. Make that make sense.
Okay, hold on. Do you think that illegal immigrants that are sex offenders that have charges of murder, battery, do you think that they should come? Do you think they still have the right to come into this country?
No, they should either be thrown in jail or deported.
Okay,
and see,
exactly. That's what Trump is trying to do. That is what Trump. He's not trying to deport like every immigrant. He's trying to deport. Mostly that's what he's working on. He's
why are you
working
just
on-
making that up on the spot?
No, it's true. It's true. That's his literal intention because he is deporting immigrants.
50% of the people that have been deported so far in this administration have had no criminal history, including Abrigo Garcia, who he sent to a center for terrorists in El Salvador. Keep in mind that we know that his intention is to remove every undocumented immigrant in this country, because if that was his intention, he wouldn't have rolled back his pause on the deportation of hospitality and service workers. He's deporting every undocumented immigrant, whether you like it or not. That's something that he ran on. That's something that he's upheld, and that's something that he's made clear. So cut the shit. Stop spreading this false propaganda. You're giving individuals false hope in something that isn't true, and it's absolutely outrageous that you have to lie about what our president is doing in order to paint him in a favorable light.
No, it's not. No, I can say the same thing. If you did you vote for Kamala Harris?
Kamala is how you pronounce her name. I did vote for her. And yeah, let's see how now this guy can spin it. Let's see how this guy can deflect and ignore everything I just said and somehow find a way to blame it on the Democrats. We're all used to the script, but let's go ahead and read it again.
No,
Take
I'm
it
not
away.
blaming it. Okay, like I said, I'm a how do you say? I'm not a 100% Republican or 100% Democrat. I'm not, but I do.
No. Please tell me why you brought up Kamala Harris in response to me very obviously pointing out the fact that no, Donald Trump is not just deporting undocumented immigrants with violent criminal
Okay,
history.
so here's the thing. We're talking about deporting, right? If
Kamala.
I do have a bad habit of saying her name wrong, but anyways, if she was president right now, it would be more, how do you say, worse than 4 years ago. Okay.
Yo,
Now, here's the
that's
thing.
you did great, man. You did great. You ran the script. Congratulations. You just said that it would be worse if the Democrats were in power. I've never heard that one before, ever. No doubt at all. Man. I obviously agree. Oh, boom! Now we got to the other talking point that Biden opened the border. You know how I know that's a talking point that is based on with no substance whatsoever? Watch this.
Oh.
Go ahead and tell me what Biden did to open the border.
What do you mean by that? But look at
A policy that he got influence to get passed through Congress that alleviated the restrictions or policy related to border provisions, or maybe like defunding of like border security agents, departments, etc. Or maybe like an executive order / a memorandum that he signed into effect.
You know what? I messed up on that part. I'm not gonna lie, I fucked up.
All right.
Let me say this and rephrase this. Let me rephrase it, okay? When Joe Biden was president, how many immigrants have came in through the border illegally?
Well, I mean, some people like to say 3 million. Some people like to say 7 million. Some people like to say 12 million. Some people like to say 20 million. And I think somebody has even said 20 billion. I don't know. It's all over the place, man. Real quick, Kara, thank you for the $20 super chat over on YouTube. Kara says, thank you for schooling the Trumpers. This old lady loves the passion of you young adults for caring for others. Thank you for the love, Kara. Let's get 200 Kara W's down below, as well as Noel with the $25. Noel says, Dean, you are brilliant and have the patience of a saint. Have you seen this leaked memo? They're begun denaturalizing citizens as they see fit. People born here are next. Thank you for all that you do. At CIV enforcement memo. I'll take a look at that memo. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, Noel. Guys, show some love to Noel down below in that comment section, as well as Lauren with the $10 over on PayPal saying, hey, Dean, can you talk more about alligator Alcatraz? So yeah, that story broke while I was in Aspen. I haven't done enough research on it to be comfortable talking a lot about it, but you could expect me to do that research by this time tomorrow, as well as Sanja, Soanya, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. That is spelled SONJA. Thank you so much. They say I've been watching your life for the past few weeks now, and they give me hope that the future is bright. Thank you for the $15, and as well as the kind message. I'm happy that these lives can give you hope, as well as S. Latrice, thank you for the $50 on PayPal. What the hell? Dude, thank you so much, S. Latrice. I want to see 500 Latrice W's down below. That is LATRICE. They just say for being awesome. Thank you so much for the $50 donation. That'll seriously go a really long way. That is so much money. Jesus, thank you so much. As well as, let's see here, Marina with the $5 over on Venmo. Brandon with the $10. Thank you so much. Rachel with the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. Saying that abortion access is protected in Wisconsin today. That's a big W. Grace with the $15 on Venmo. They say you're so good. They scared. You scared them away. You should go undercover and do this. I know. I need to change my name and put a little mustache on. That's a good idea, Grace. Thank you for the 15. As well as Brian with the $25 on PayPal saying, with your help, my husband is no longer a MAGA supporter. W fucking you and W your husband. That makes me so happy. Shout out to Brian down below in that comment section. As well as Brandon with the $10 over on Venmo. Anna with the $10 over on Venmo. And then Matthew with the $20 on Venmo. They're saying this guy has status quo bias or motivated reasoning bias. Yeah, he has a lot of biases, that's for sure. And then Monica with the $10 over on Venmo saying thank you for educating Americans. I appreciate you so much for the love. Shout out to Monica down below in that chat. Go ahead and continue.
Hold on. I was doing something on my phone real quick. What were we talking about again? Sorry, my bad. I was texting
Yeah,
someone.
we're talking about how you have absolutely no response to my original position insofar as why I think that mass deportation sucks, even though you argued that it was a good policy. You also have no response to the difference that I pointed out between Donald Trump and Obama's deportations. You have no response to the argument that you think that we should deport sex offenders, even though you voted a sex offender into the Oval Office. And you have no response to the position that you said that Biden opened the border, even though you can't name a policy or an executive order in which he passed to open the border. That is going to be pretty precise. And recap of essentially every single point that you've made so far since you've joined the stream, as well as a recap of your inability to respond to any of my counterpoints that I've made to you since you've joined the stream. There's unironically not been a single argument that you've made that I've addressed that you've been able to cogently rebuttal. And in fact, every single time I've given you one of my cogent rebuttals, you've simply moved on to the next point. Like for instance, when you defended mass deportation and I told you I was bad, you then moved on and pivoted to Obama. When I gave you the differences between him and Obama, you then moved on to saying that we need to get the sex offenders out. When I told you that Donald Trump is a sex offender, you then moved on and said that Biden opened the border. And then when I told you how Biden didn't open the border, now you've moved on asking me how many undocumented immigrants came in this country in the last 4 years. So yeah, that's what's going on, man. That's a really good recap there.
So let me hear this. So basically what I'm trying to say about the whole deporting thing, let's go to Trump and Obama real quick. Okay, I'm saying that if you don't like Trump for him deporting immigrants, then you should not like Barack Obama for the same reasons, but he's deporting even more. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
well, I've already
second
responded
thing.
to that argument. That was literally that was the second argument that I responded to.
No. And then about how many immigrants came into the
Well,
border.
one second. No. Man, we need to go one point by a time without just quickly you pivoting once I am able to respond and debunk what you say. So we're going to stay on one claim now. I'm going to force you to do that. Okay, I've been too lenient on you. So let's go one claim at a time. Your one claim was, if I don't like Donald Trump, that I couldn't have liked Obama. Okay, I give you very specific differences between the policy of Trump and the policy of Obama. A, Obama didn't illegally deport any undocumented immigrants. B, it is the case that Obama didn't want to deport every single undocumented immigrant. My evidence of this would literally be DACA, which was a work program that he started to give working permits to undocumented immigrants. And C, I would disagree with the deportation of any undocumented immigrant, even if it happened under Obama. So that would be more of a lesser of two evils within the respective immigration policy if you were to run again in 2028. I've now given you the 3 reasons why I believe that you're wrong. I want to hear your cogent intelligent response / rebuttal to my 3 reasons. Come on, take it away,
No,
please.
so you just think that people come into our country without like having to do the legal stuff, like get their papers and everything. Do like how do you say? Do you think that they have the right to come here without going through
Now you're
any
pivoting.
process?
Now you're pivoting. So instead of responding to my reasons, insofar as what the differences between Obama and Trump are, you're now moving on to asking me if I think that
No,
undocumented
it's just the
immigration is
whole
okay.
thing about immigrants. You
You can't just
think so.
abstract the conversation and say, let's go back to the whole conversation about undocumented immigrants once I'm able to specifically debunk one of your specific points. No, that's not what we're going to do here. You can't just say shit and then get away with saying it. I'm going to debunk you and then you're going to respond to it. Now, if you can't handle the fact that I was able to prove you wrong and that's why you're trying to move on, well, then just be honest about it, man. Say that you don't have a response to what I said instead of trying to gaslight me into thinking that you're not deflecting by arguing that you just want to abstract the conversation and talk about undocumented immigration as a whole. Either concede or fucking respond.
Okay, so what was your question then?
Sure, my question was, what is your
Ask me.
what is your response to the 3 reasons I gave insofar as why the policy between Obama and Donald Trump are different and how I can still justify supporting Obama in contrast to Trump because it would be a lesser of 2 evils within the respect of immigration policy?
Okay, I'm trying to find something here. Trying to look it up as we're going. Say the question so I can type it in. So I can...
Say the question so you could type it in. Type it into where? ChatGPT?
No, not ChatGPT and Safari, so I can see what you're talking about.
Wait, what see what I'm talking about?
Hold on.
I don't. So the differences in the policy was Obama didn't like illegally / unconstitutionally deport everybody. Obama didn't want to deport every undocumented immigrant, only those with prior criminal offenses. And my evidence of that would be the fact that he started DACA.
No, you're fucking good. You're fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, listen. If you don't have a response,
No,
just
I
say
don't
that.
got a
That's
response.
fine.
But look, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this to you, and you are fucking smart. You're fucking smart. I'll tell you that,
Hey, man,
100% for sure.
I appreciate you for your
Because
kindness.
I don't. Some of the stuff that you say, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a response for that because I don't know enough. I just started getting into politics about a year ago.
That's thank you. That's all that I want to admit. I could respect that so much. I could really respect that. Thank you. I could really respect that. I'm gonna leave you here with my buddy Santana for a second while I go pee real quick. I need that bio break bad, everybody. I was chugging water and coffee before I got on. My fault.
I'm actually gonna leave the live. I'm gonna leave the live. Thank you for your. Thank you
Wait,
for your
wait. You
argument.
sure? Hold on. I just
You know, you
wanted to
have
run something past you. If you
changed
could,
my
if
opinion
just
a little bit.
wait. I want if just 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I just had a couple of
Wait,
questions.
who's
Yeah. If you don't mind, just hold tight for me.
Is it okay, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay, and then real quick,
Yeah, I know, it's good.
before you hop into that, and I go pee real quick. Flat Earth Society. Do you support Trump?
Of course.
And how old are you?
Of course. 18.
18. Okay, phenomenal. Yo, Santana, I'm gonna give you like full mod power real quick. Just so like, you know, if like anyone starts acting up, you have like the ability to fix that.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right.
There we go. And what's your at, Santana?
Santana 24 speaks.
You are added. Oh, moderator count reached. Go ahead and take it away, you guys.
All right. Hey, so before you take off, is it 10 zone? Say it again. 10? Are you there?
Okay, it looks like 10 is lagging really bad, so unfortunately we are gonna have to go and move on from 10.
Yep.
Flat Earth Society, it's
Flat
just you,
Earth.
man. You support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, why is that?
I just think he's making America great again.
All right, good luck, Santana. LBLB.
Cool. Yeah. So, hey, so Flat Earth. What's your name? What can I call you?
Just call me Flat Earth, man.
Okay, I guess. Hey, so you're 18, you're a young man, and you think that Donald Timothy Trump is making America great again. How so?
Just like general policy, just what he's doing right now.
Sure. Okay, that sounds good. What policies?
Just curious, before we start, are we running like a 2v1 or how's this gonna work? Or are we just
Well,
is it
actually, it's just
like
you and I
side
going toe to toe right now. But does it intimidate you? Are you scared?
No,
You
no,
worried?
no. I'm just curious. Is this just like some side chat before Dean comes back? We're just like warming up.
No, I'm slapping you around for right now. So again, what policies are you
You're
actually
slapping
referring
me
to?
around?
Yeah, I'm slapping you
I
around
don't
right now. What
I
policies
don't
are
like
you
the way you
referring
say
to?
that.
Hmm?
I don't like the way you say that.
Oh, thank you. So what policies are you referring to?
It's just general policies. They're all pretty good.
Sure. What
If you have
general
a
policies
specific,
though? I
if
mean,
you
there
have like,
has to be something specific that
what
you
about I
actually
flip? I'm
like,
gonna
right?
flip the script on you. I'm gonna flip the script. What do you think is a bad policy?
It doesn't work that way. If you don't know
What
any
about
policies, you can
what
just
about
say, if you
what
don't
about
know any,
like you do a
if
bad
you don't,
one, I
hey,
do a good one, and then we'll just go back.
bud, slow down. If you don't know any policies, you can say you don't know any. I mean, that's fine.
No, I know plenty. I'm just saying like you do a bad
Okay,
one.
then
I
name
do a good
one.
one. You do a bad one. I'll name a good one. We'll just go
Sure.
like that.
Just name one.
One policy. Just deportation's pretty good.
Yeah, deportation isn't a policy. What's an actual? You said that he's making America great again based off of the fact of the policies that he's instituting. I'm saying just name one. I just need one.
One policy. It's the deportation.
Okay.
That's not that's not okay. So what has he actually instituted to be able to complete mass deportation?
He was just like, "Yeah, let's get these people out of here."
Got it.
Okay, dude, this guy's a troll. Are you trolling?
He has to
No,
be.
I'm a proud Republican.
You're a proud Republican. Here.
Honestly, I just don't think he knows anything.
I left my anxiety pin across the room. I'll be again.
Yeah, you're good. So listen, tell me at the very least, why do you think like mass deportation is a good thing?
There's just too many people in here.
By what metrics? What
Just
indicators?
like too many immigrants came through during the Biden administration.
Okay, how many came through?
Like, I heard like figures as big as like 1 billion, maybe. I
Okay,
don't know.
yeah, this guy's trolling. Okay, Santana, I apologize that I just gave you a fucking troll to like hurt your brain for like a second there, while I was off using the bio break. I'm sorry about that, Santana.
1 billion people under Biden?
Yeah,
That's wild.
we kicked them out. Santana, I appreciate you for covering me while I was using the restroom there, man. And I'm sorry that I just set you up with like a fucking
all good,
troll.
bro.
Guys, show some love to Santana. Show some love to Santana. Everybody, real quick, before Santana heads out, drop Santana a follow. He does lives as well. He talks about a lot of critical issues in America and on the global stage as well. Sometimes he'll do debates on politics himself. So real quick, I'm going to just give 10 seconds down here to Santana. So show him some love. Drop him a follow. His streams are great. There we go. Awesome. Santana, thank
Appreciate
you so
you,
much
bro.
for joining me, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, man.
You as well.
All right, what is up, Odat Skeleton? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
18.
18. What year were you born in?
2000.
2000. Your math is terrible, bro. Holy fuck. I don't think I've seen somebody that bad at math in a long time. We're going to move on to the next guest. And dude, you guys have been going fucking crazy on the donations. I'm sorry. Yo, 777 with the $50 on Super Chat. Dude, thank you so much for the love. Let's get 500 777 W's down below in that chat for the $50 fucking Super Chat while we're working on getting that next guest loaded into the stream. Seriously, man, thank you so much for the love. I want everybody to show some love to 777 while we got Hunter loaded in down below, as well as a lot of you with the $20 Super Chat. Say not the Justin Bieber hair. Yeah, it's just free flowing today, man. I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the 20. And then, dude, oh my days, Daisy with the $100 Super Chat over on YT2. Daisy, that is so much money. I do not deserve that at all. That is literally so fucking kind of you. I seriously do not deserve that. Thank you so much for your kindness and your generosity. I want to see at least 1,000 W's for Daisy down below in that chat for the $100 Super Chat. That goes a really long way, Daisy. Just know that I really appreciate you. Show some love to 777 Alani and Daisy. And what is up, Hunter? Do you support Trump? Hunter is actually not here, so we're going to kick Hunter out and move on to the next guest. If you happen to be one of the 13.4 thousand people tuning in and you want to come up here and debate, let me know down below. What's up, Cheryl? You support Trump, bro?
Yes, I do. I got a question.
How old are you?
I'm 51.
You're 51? Yeah, what year are you born in?
1974.
Okay, I have a question. Name a popular band from the 70s.
The Beatles.
I don't trust him. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We got Elias loading up into the stream. Holy crap. Yeah, no, wow. We have a couple of PayPals to go over here, so everybody just do be patient in the meantime. Yo, Joe, this was 12 minutes ago. 12. Okay, he's playing video games. Joe, thank you for the $50 over on PayPal. That was 12 minutes ago. While we're getting that next guest, James, loaded into the live Dava debate. Guys, let's show some love to Joe down below in that comment section. Joe says, it's good to see you, bro. Good to see you again today, Joe. Thank you so much for tuning in here. Show some love to Joe down below in that comment section. Thank you, Joe. As well as Nathaniel, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. They say, I created a Etsy store with your inspiration. Here's $20 coupon to whatever item or whatever you want to use it for. Nathaniel, go ahead and respond to that with a link to your Etsy. I'd love to check it out. Thank you, Nathaniel, for the $20 and Joe with the 50. What's going on, James? Do you support Trump? Okay, James is just chilling. You guys think that last guest was legit? I don't know. Like their voice sounded like a younger person. Their voice didn't sound like a 50-year-old. Now, if you guys think that she was legit, if you happen to be watching, feel free to hop back in that queue. I'll go with the bomb mentality. So Shalina or whatever your name was, hop back in that queue. I'll let you back up. I'll cave to the chat and we'll let you come up here. What's going on, Dallas? Do you support Trump? What is going on with all of the people that are coming up here and just saying absolutely nothing? I don't even know what to do, guys. It looks like there's just literally a lot of bots in the queue, guys. If you're not a bot and you actually want to come up here and debate me on why you support Trump, let me know down below in that chat by dropping MAGA with your age. We'll just allow you to completely skip and bypass the line. Let's see here. Julian, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal from 12 minutes ago, saying, I just want to say that I'm a college student working at daycare. I taught them about the military this week. And I really appreciate you for what you do. Thank you, Jillian. Show some love to Jillian down below as well. Charlotte with the $10 over on PayPal saying, I could defend Trump better than half of these guys as a liberal. Education takes me further as a devil's advocate. No, me too. Absolutely. I've had a lot of liberals come up here and troll. They'll do that every so often. And the way that I know they're trolling is because they give a better defense than like everybody else. As well as Charlotte with the $10 over on PayPal 13 minutes ago. Wait, that was already you. And Kara, K-A-R-A with the $25 on PayPal 12 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the love, Kara. They say I was raised and spent 40 years in a religious cult. I escaped 6 years ago at the expense of being shunned by all my family. What cult? And oh my God, I can't even believe what the deconstruction that may be like. Thank you for the $25, Kara. And what is going on, JDS? Do you support Trump?
Nah, I support fucking Brent Peterson. You know him?
Brent Peter? No, I do know who that is. No, I couldn't agree more. Right, I voted Brent in the last 4 elections. Absolutely. We're gonna try to get that next guest up here. What did you say? What did you say, Lucy? Lily?
You're so hot.
Okay, go pop out. What's up, Lucy? You support Trump?
Yeah,
How old are you?
23,
What year were you born in?
2001.
Can you come a little bit closer to your mic?
Yeah,
Okay, a little bit closer.
yeah.
Okay, there you are. I just want to verify your age because you do sound a little bit on the younger side. Do you have a driver's license?
No.
Okay. I guess I'll be able to tell your age based upon the argument that you give us. Why do you support Trump?
I really like his environmental.
Yep, that's a fetus. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get Jess up in the box. Here we go, y'all. And Kathy with the $50 over on PayPal from 13 minutes ago. Show some love to Kathy down below in that box, and down below in those chats, everybody. I want to see a bunch of W Kathys for the $50 donation. Kathy, that is so incredibly kind of you. It really does go a long way. Thank you so much for the love. As well as Julia, thank you for the $30 over on PayPal. They say, I'm following your life from Romania. Thank you for fighting fascism and speaking about everything that is now wrong with the U.S. I'm so glad that there's people like you out there. Julia, thank you. Thank you for the kind message and the $30 donation. So show some love to Julia down below in that chat, as well as Angela with the $10 over on PayPal saying, Dean, I freaking love you. Appreciate you on all levels. Thank you for the love, Angela. Welcome in. What is going on, Jess? Do you support Trump?
Hi, yeah, I just wanna have a shout out. I'm from the Philippines, and this is the first time I watch your videos, and it's kind of like interesting.
Appreciate you for that, Jess. WJess down below in the comment section said that they find it interesting. They watch the videos. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you. We're going to move on to the next guest just because we are only looking to talk to American citizen adults that support Trump. But that's pretty cool, Jess. We're going to go to get that next guest up in here literally right now. Christy, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo saying you couldn't be hungry eating up MAGAs for lunch, but this may buy you a coffee. Dude, thank you, Christy. That's incredibly kind of you. And then Brittany, this was 14 minutes ago, but Brittany, thank you for the $50 over on Venmo, they say. Dean, thank thanks again for devoting so much of your time to fighting the fight. Well, I love what I do, Brittany. It is like literally like my life's purpose. I love it so much. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you for the $50 donation. I want to see 500 Brittany W's down below in that chat while we're just seriously trying to find one fucking Trump supporter to come up here and debate. It is so incredibly hard to find Trump supporters, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that they're just scared. You know, they're hiding. They don't know how to respond about the big, beautiful bill yet, but it is what it is. And then Vivian, thank you for the $40 on Venmo from 15 minutes ago. I want to see 400 Vivian W's. Thank you guys. You guys are going crazy today. Thank you, Vivian. Vivian says, thank you for standing up against misogyny and harmful speech against women. I'm so hopeful for the future if more men grow to be like you. Vivian, that is literally one of the largest compliments I can receive that an individual can give. Thank you for the love, Vivian. I want y'all to show some extra special love to Vivian down below. And then also, let's see here, Wendy, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Shout out to Wendy. Cam, thank you for the 5. And Monica, thank you for the 10. What is going on? Do you support Trump, Robbie?
Yep, I do.
Cool. How old are you?
I thought you were about to ask my age. Sorry.
Yeah, how old
I
are
was
you?
prepared for that. 20.
Cool. I believe you. I just have one last donation here, and then I'll go and let you take it away. Alania, thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Show some love to Alania down below. Alania says, did you know that every second Dean's hair is... I don't know what that donation means. Someone should explain that to me. Thank you for the $50, Alania. Incredibly kind of you. Let's get 500 Alania W's down below. Now take it away, Robbie. Why do you support Trump?
I mean, I wasn't like super crazy into politics, but I just feel like Trump really supports the military. I mean, obviously people can go back and forth, but I just fucked with the parade, honestly. I fucked with it. I know a lot of people hated on it and shit, said, oh, silent protest, but
Okay, so because he did a military parade that was just a significant waste of resources, that means that he fucks with the military. But when he explicitly violates the Constitution 5 times in the last 160 days, and dodged the draft 3 times in his youth from Vietnam, and explicitly called for the termination of the Constitution, when all members of the military took an oath to uphold the Constitution, that's not any evidence that he doesn't fuck with the military, right?
Well, in Vietnam, there was like, you were allowed to not be drafted if you were in college. He was in college for like a lot of his.
No, the way in which he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs, not because he was in college.
Falsely claiming what?
The way that he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs, not by saying that he was in college. And then also, if you know anything about the draft related to Vietnam, so it started out by like excluding college students and like fathers, etc. But as the war moved on, the draft relinquished those rules, and they got to a point where they're kind of drafting anybody and everybody. But the specific way that he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs.
Oh, I wasn't tracking that. I knew that. Like back then, I know of a lot of people who fucking didn't go to Vietnam because they were in college and they were like, the government was like, all right, as long as you're like getting good grades or blah blah blah, we're not gonna fucking draft you because you're good for us.
Him dodging the draft because of false claim of bone spurs is like incredibly well documented. So I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. Besides that, like, how do you feel about like the parade and stuff? Were you like,
there's a waste of resources?
Okay. I mean, you could argue that, but at the same time, like, we do a lot of things that aren't completely necessary for our country's benefit.
Okay.
That
how about we just agree to disagree? It kind of seems like a pretty inconsequential topic. Like, I don't know why this parade is like what has made you support Trump. Like, I mean, it just seems like really inconsequential. Like, I'm gonna be like, I'll be frank. My position is that it's like it was absolutely unnecessary, a waste of resources. But like ultimately, like the military parade seemingly is like pretty inconsequential. Like sure, it gave North Korea, but like oh well, like there's more important things that we could be discussing here, such as how the BBB that he's trying to get passed through Congress today is going to kick 11 million people off of Medicaid, or put the SNAP benefits of 11 million American citizens at risk, or like maybe the fact that he's only increased global tensions. He's stripped the human rights away from 66 million American women. You know, I think there's a lot more consequential things that we could talk about than that. Yes, about abortion.
What are you talking about? You think, so what are you talking about when you say he's stripped like the rights away from 66 million women? Are you talking about...
Yeah, because he influenced SCOTUS to overturn Roe v. Wade. That led to like 23 red states banning elective abortions. I find that to be a violation of women and girls' human rights, because I think it is a human rights infraction to restrict or impede upon somebody's bodily autonomy without good reason. And I just don't think that there is any good reason for the abortion bans.
Yeah, I mean, an argument you could make for that, whether you support abortion or not, is like, okay, like ultimately we're a democracy and we're a big ass country with a lot of different states that have sometimes wildly different opinions. But if you could argue that it becomes more democratic when you divide it up into smaller pieces. Like if states have more power, right, to make laws about literally anything, yeah, okay, maybe I don't support abortion, but maybe another state fucking does or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
If
But
you give that
if
state the
everybody
option,
and everybody in Alabama wanted slavery back, would you be okay with that?
no, but that's not my state. Like, okay, that's obviously a drastically fucking different argument, though. That's like
Why? Because it's a human
some
rights
people.
violation? Are you saying
Okay,
that human rights should be protected by the federal government?
yes, but I don't
Right.
think.
That's my
Okay,
argument about abortion. Because remember how I said I think it's a human rights violation to
okay, but
restrict or take that right away from women.
you can't say that. Okay, like the opinions on abortion and the opinions on basic fundamental, like human, like all right, so human like shit like slavery, obviously like you probably 99.9% of Americans would agree that that's obviously
But
not something.
keep up. You agreed that human rights should be protected by the federal government. Yes?
They should be protected by state governments too.
Okay. So should states be able to legislate on human rights?
I think that states should have more power than the federal
That's
government.
not the question that I asked. The question that I asked is, do you think that states should be able to legislate on human rights?
I think yes, more so than the federal government.
Okay, so if you were like dictator of America and 51% of people in Alabama agreed that they wanted to have a vote on like reinstituting the legality of slavery, you would say that they should have the legal ability to do that.
Yeah, but you're using
I just want to clarify. This isn't an extreme hypothetical. This is literally what the
If
Confederacy
the federal government, all right, if you want the federal
Can we
government,
just agree that this is not like an extreme far out hypothetical? This is literally what caused the Civil War.
Yeah.
So
Fucking
I just want to
250
clarify. You agreed with the Confederacy. Do you like self-identify as a Confederate?
No.
Okay, so you're not a
I don't-
Confederate. So you disagree with the Confederacy? Well, then thereby you would disagree with like states having the right to legislate on human rights.
That's not true.
That's what the
Union-
Confederacy wanted. The Confederacy started the fucking Civil War by trying to secede from the Union because the Union
The
didn't want to
Union-
give them the ability to legislate on the human right of bodily autonomy, self-ownership, and dignity and personhood by arguing that they should be within their legal rights to rule black individuals as nothing more than property.
Union states had different states with different human rights. There were literally Union states that had slaves.
Union states that
After
had
the-
slaves.
After the Emancipation Proclamation, Maryland had slaves and they were a part of the Union, or they were neutral. And then there were slaves like I think it was, I can't remember
Okay,
what state it was.
listen. At the end of the day, do you think that states should be able to legislate on slavery or not?
Yes.
You do think they should?
Maybe not all human rights, but I think the vast
Well,
majority,
can you just answer my question? Yes or no? Should states be able to legislate on slavery?
for the most part. No. Whoa, hold on.
What,
Yes,
dude?
Yes.
Yes? Okay,
But
so
I-
you do think that states should be able to legislate on slavery, right?
Yes, because I think most states, all states would 100% agree that slavery.
Okay. So if Alabama legalized slavery through a statewide vote, and you had the ability to snap your fingers and outrule that law, given the power of the American Constitution, would you or would you not snap your fingers?
I'm sorry, that's fucking.
If Alabama legalized slavery through a statewide vote and you had the power to ban that law and recriminalize slavery within a moment's notice, okay, because of the power vested in the federal government, would you
Right,
snap
right.
your fingers?
Yeah, probably. But like that's
So
such
you
an
don't
extreme
think-
case. Though. You can't use slavery. You can't compare
don't
slavery.
think.
to
So you told me that you do think states should have the legal right to legislate on slavery, but now you're saying no. So I just want to affirm that the conclusion is that you do not think states should have the legal right to legislate on slavery, right?
on slavery. Yes, I think states should be able to. Yes.
But you just said that.
But I don't think.
But you just contradicted that because I asked you if Alabama did legalize slavery and you could snap your fingers and recriminalize it in the state via the power vested in the Constitution. You said you would snap your fingers. Okay.
Okay.
So in saying that you would
Okay,
snap
yeah.
your fingers, you're saying that states shouldn't have the ability to legislate/legalize slavery, as that power should be vested in the federal government on behest of the American Constitution. So now you're just all over the place. I mean, like you're literally just an incomprehensible mess of words that's making no damn sense.
Okay, yeah, but you're saying legislate on slavery / legalize slavery. Like I'm saying, it's okay. Like that states should have slavery. Obviously, the general public of like today's America.
I'm not going to allow you to move on. I'm not going to allow you to move on until we could clarify if you do think that states should have the ability to legalize slavery or not.
Yes, I think they should because I think most people are good, and I think most states.
Okay. So if Alabama
really good
did,
enough.
so if Alabama did legalize slavery, okay, if Alabama
Right.
did legalize slavery, and you had the power to snap your fingers and recriminalize it in the state by the power vested in the federal government and the Constitution, would you snap your fingers?
I mean, obviously, yes. Like if
Yeah.
the federal government is ultimately over the state, then they have more power than the
What
state.
is going on?
But
I don't understand because you're like contradicting
you're
yourself.
literally- okay.
You're
You're
saying that states should have the right to legalize slavery and that states shouldn't have the right to legalize slavery, like simultaneously. You're literally contradicting yourself. You're saying that a square is a circle. You're saying that when it's nighttime, it's daytime. You're saying that when it's cold out, it's hot out. You're saying that states should have the ability to legalize slavery, but states shouldn't have the ability to legalize slavery. I mean, you've already caused 800 people to leave because of your silly, illogical antics. I'm not going to allow this to continue. Either clear this mess up, or I'm going to just move on to the next guest. So you better give me some compelling response to clear this contradiction up and unmuddy the water, or I'm just going to move on.
No, I 100% get how you're saying there is a contradiction, but my whole point is that you have to trust that there is at least some sort of morality in the like laws that states make for themselves. Yes, obviously, like the whole reason that you give states power as opposed to the federal government is so that they.
Yeah, he got banned. Okay, moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute. Well, that guy was like, seriously, just like literally logically incomprehensible. There was like absolutely like nothing that guest was saying that was making sense. There seriously wasn't one thing that guest said that whole time that made any sense. What's up, Ollie? Can you get a little bit closer to your mic, man?
What's up?
Hey, man, you said in the chat that I pay guests to come up here and debate?
Yep.
So you just think I'm that good at debating and you think people are that bad at defending Trump?
Yep.
Well, that was a really quick concession. Michael, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal, as well as Laureen with the $20. Everybody show some love to Laureen down below in that comment section. Thank you so much, Laureen. And oh my God, this was 20 minutes ago, but Kathy! Thank you so much for the $75 over on PayPal. I would have seen 1,000 Kathy W's down below. Seriously, Kathy, that is so incredibly kind of you. Show some love to Kathy, Laureen, Michael, as well as Tin. Thank you for the $10. Tina, thank you for the $10. That is so incredibly kind of you. As well as Harley with the $5 over on Venmo. Sierra with the $10 on Venmo, Anna with the $2, and Antonio with the 10 as well. Antonio says my YouTube dono was skipped. I'm so sorry that I skipped that, man. Show Antonio some extra love. But I'm guessing that you're a Trump supporter, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I obviously didn't pay you to come up here. Why don't you tell us why you support Trump?
I think he's better than Kamala.
Oh, this is a kid. How old are you?
18.
Yeah, I don't believe you. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest up in here. That was a kid. I'm sorry. It took me a while to pick up on the fact that was a kid. Took me a while to pick up on the fact that was a child. What's up, Jelly Oats? You support Trump?
Daniel gets his big old fingers down in there.
Jelly Oats? Hi, you're on the live. Hello, hello, hello.
Spot. And I'm thinking, well, Daniel can.
Okay, all right. We're going to move on to the next guest. So somebody in the chat just said he kicks out everybody that he fears. Dude, that guy was a child. What do you mean? Yeah, what's going on, man? What's up, Noah? How old are you?
Hail Hitler, hail the nigger.
Okay, we very quickly kicked them out for violating the terms of service of TikTok. We very quickly kick out anybody that does that. We very quickly kick out and remove absolutely anybody that does that. We very quickly kick them out. What is going on, Flake? Do you support Trump?
Actually, Trump sucks, but I was just gonna say I got a song coming out this Friday. Love you guys.
Okay, weird self promo. Moving on. Here we go, everybody. All right, yo, guys, there's 12,000 people in here, but nobody that wants to come up to the debate. Why is that? Hey, how about this? If you're watching and you're like, hey, this Dean guy's pretty cool and I want to support him and what he does, feel free to support me over Venmo, Cash App, or not Cash App anymore, but PayPal. You can find them in the LINKTREE in my BIO. Spell that out in your head. I get 100% of those proceeds, as well as you get a notification on the top of this phone, so I could read off your name, the amount, and any attached message. I really appreciate everyone so much for the love. You guys have been incredibly kind today. Welcome in, Marcos. Do you support Trump? Marcos is just yet another bot. He's just yet another bot, everybody. Just yet another bot. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Go ahead and just give us a minute to get that next guest up here. We see Michael Maga down below in that chat. Let's go and get Michael Maga loaded into the live. Here we go, everyone. Wow, super hard to find debates today, y'all. Make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Maybe that'll help send the live out more so we can get some debates going. Like, I seriously don't know what's going on today.
I have something to say. Please don't kick me.
That is
don't kick me,
little
please.
child. No. Nope. You have nothing to say. Get off the live. Here we go. Moving on to the next guest. We got a random loading up in the box. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I don't support Trump, but I was hearing you talk.
All right, guys. I don't know if you don't know, like, guys. The rules are the rules. There is nothing we could do about the rules. The rules. Okay. The rules are as follows. You gotta be an adult. You gotta be at least 18. You gotta be an American citizen, and you have to support Trump. Those are the rules. All right. Let's get that next guest up in here, everybody. Do you be patient while we get them loaded in? Hello, do you support Trump?
Of course.
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Okay, your bio says proud gay Republican, gay fisher, gay hunter, proud flat earther. I think you're a troll. Okay. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got Mike loaded up in the box. Here we go.
Hello?
What's up, Mike? You support Trump?
Hell no, I love you, bro. I'm support.
Thanks, Mike. Please follow my rules. Please? How many times do I need to ask, please? We're going to move on to the next guest. Hey, what's up? You support Trump, Madison?
Hello? Hey, Dean.
Hey, how old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2007, February 19th.
You're like 4. You're like literally 4. Okay. We're going to go get Jason up here. Willow! Thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Willow says, you teach me a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you, Willow. What's up, Jason? You support Trump?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a kid.
You're a cornball, man. You're a cornball.
Dude, your mother packs you a Ziploc bag of cornballs to take to middle school and eat on the playground during recess. You are not old enough to be in this space. What is going on? We're going to move on to Doc. Here we go. Only children today. What do we do about that? I don't know. Maybe the adults are just too scared to come up here, and the kids have a little bit less scaredness. What's up, Kristen? You support Trump?
Nigga.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't really find anybody to debate, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go and restart the live, try to get out in the algorithm again, as well as we've gotten a handful of flags on the live, so we just have to restart to get rid of the flags. We'll probably start doing this every single day. Around midway through the live, we'll restart it just to get rid of all the flags that have built up because of the guests and whatnot. And that's just going to be a way that we protect the account and we protect the stream. And I know that we have 12,000 people in here, so it really sucks to do, but it's something that we just got to do to protect the account and protect the stream. If you happen to be one of the 12,000 people, I mean, obviously you are if you hear my voice, I'm going to go to instruct you how to refund my live. So everybody right now, I'm going to instruct you to the follow button up here in this corner. Hit that follow button right now. So if you cannot find my live by, like the following, by like my instructions of how to come back in after the restart, if you do follow, you'll get the notification at the top of the TikTok app. So there'll be one really easy way to find your way back into the live. Now, if you didn't follow for whatever reason, even though I just told you to follow and you still want to come back in, or you just want the easiest way to come back in, go ahead and click on my profile picture in this corner, and then you'll see like this thing pop up. It kind of looks like that. If you click on the profile picture again, like that, it'll lead you to the account page, and you see like this circle around the profile picture. If you click on it and on that, it'll just lead you to the live. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart, so that circle is going to go away. It won't show that I'm live. But then after around like 10, 20, 30 seconds, if you swipe down and refresh like that, you will then see that circle pop back up, and then you'll be able to come right back in here. Now, I will be right back. Everybody saying that stop patronizing the chat. We get it. You'd be surprised. I don't know. There's a lot of people that may not be as familiar with like TikTok lives as you are, so it's kind of worth a pretty proficient explanation. I'll be right back. Everybody, BRB. Make sure to come right back into the live. All right, everybody on YouTube, we're not going anywhere. We're just hitting that quick restart. Unfortunately, it's something that we need to do. I don't say this over on TikTok because then more people will do it. But when people come up and say like the N-word or whatnot, it like gives me a flag on my live, regardless of how fast I remove them, kick them, etc. So I think I could get like a total of 3 in one stream. And just to kind of mitigate the risk of me losing my account, we're just gonna have to do a restart like this once a day, particularly like at the 2-hour mark, like we're at right now. But let's gonna get that next guest up in here. Everybody, we actually just hit the restart. This should be great. We're gonna go to remove and delete the recap. Here we go, everybody. We should be good to go. Great. Hello and welcome back into the stream, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back in from the restart. We are back. If you happen to be one of the very first 2,000 people hanging out in the stream with us here today, guys, make sure that you are double tapping away in that vote screen and share out the live with a handful of friends. That'll really help us get the live to shoot out and across that For You page. Really, truly will. Now that we have done the restart, we should have no problem getting debates for the rest of the day, but the Trump supporters are absolutely terrified. I think that we need to do something about the terrible trolls, okay? The Trump supporters are so scared, everybody. We have been struggling all day long to find debates. I think it's because of how scared they are. And I guess we'll continue to see them run away as we re-hop into the debates here. Now, real quick, I would like to show some love to Devin for the $5 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you. But now we're going to go and hop back into the debates. If you find yourself in the queue, make sure that you're at least 18 years old. Make sure that you support Trump and that you are ready and willing to come up here and have a debate. But I mean, oh my God, these Trump supporters are absolutely terrified. What's going on, Jacob? You support Trump?
Yep.
Okay, Jacob, how old are you, man?
20.
Well, Mr. Jacob, I'm going to go and pass the mic to you. I want you to tell us why you support Trump. But before you do, I need to thank Taylor for the $20 donation over at Venmo. Taylor says, the work you're doing is so impactful. Get yourself a little treat on me and please take care of yourself. Will do, Taylor. Thank you so much for your kindness and your generosity. Let's get 200 Taylor W's down below in that chat while we are passing the mic to Jacob to tell us why he supports Trump. Go for it.
So I think like the $102 billion tax credit given to children is like an amazing thing that stems from the beautiful bill, which stems from Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. So if the reason you support Trump is for an increase in the child tax credit, then you very obviously voted for Kamala Harris because she proposed increases higher than what we see offered by Trump.
Yeah, but like I didn't believe her though.
You didn't believe her, but you will believe him, even though he's the one that told 30,000 lies in his first administration and told the biggest lie that any sitting president has ever told with his denial of the outcome of the 2020 election, and has lied about slashing prices on day one in this term, has lied about ending the war between Ukraine and Russia this term, and has been lying about the outcome of the 2020 election for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but like also he's like also very much admitted on like the tax like obfuscations that he used for like the different amounts. Like if I were to trust anybody with like any type of tax knowledge, it would be Trump because he abused it the most.
Okay, so now you're saying the reason that you trust him more to pass an increase in the child tax credit is because he's abused the tax code. Well, that doesn't make any sense, and I think that he realizes that, and that's why he left. Sophia, thank you so much for the motorcycle. We are less than 3 minutes into the stream, and we already have one runner. Dude, if you're watching this stream on TikTok and you are a Trump supporter that isn't a runner and has at least a micro spine compared to these other spineless Trump supporters, go ahead and hop in that queue. I'm literally calling on any and all Trump supporters that are ready and willing to come up here and have a debate. It is so hard to find anybody today. Welcome in. What is going on? Kirk's Power Washing. Do you support Trump?
I do, and I was wondering if, like, you could, like...
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Really? What month?
June.
June, born in 07. Let's see, 04 would be 2020 and 21, 05 would be 19 turning 20, 06 would be 18 turning 19, 07 would be 16 turning 18. You would have just turned 18. Okay.
My birthday was the 1st.
Okay, all right. Why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because he has, well, not now, but his last term caused no wars at all.
Okay. Well, if the reason you supported him was because he caused no wars, well, like the Biden-Harris administration, it caused any wars either, so they wouldn't have given you a reason to support one candidate over another. But like now, he obviously has caused the war, so you no longer support him, right?
And I now realize that, and I was wondering if you could change my mind. If the Democratic
Wait, why
Party
doesn't that change your mind?
No, you're saying that the Democratic Party is so much better. I was wondering if you could, like, change my mind in any way.
Yeah, for sure, but I should be able to change your mind really easily. You said that your support for Trump hinged on starting no wars. He started a war, thereby your support for Trump should go away.
Yes.
So you're not a Trump supporter?
I was, but after this, I got a brother and I...
Cool, man. Well, honestly, I think that you benefit much more from listening in. Also, I think that you might be a kid. So I'm going to go to move on just for minor safety, as well as you're not a Trump supporter. What's up, Asher? You support Trump?
I do.
Ah, no. Ew, how could you? Here, real quick. Let me thank Anna for the $5 over on Venmo, saying I'm hoping you read my message this time. What's up with you, with your take on celebrating the 4th this weekend? Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to hopefully be protesting on the 4th. We've heard about No Kings 2.0. Shelby, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying contributing to your paid guest fund. Thank you for the love, Shelby. As well as Ebony with a $7 over on PayPal. Shout out to Ebony down below. Thank you so much. As well as Katie with the $5 on PayPal and Hunter with a 5 as well. Thank you so much. Okay, take it away. Why do you support Trump? After I thank Joe with the $30 over on PayPal. 300 Joe W's down below in that chat. Thank you for the love, Joe. Joe didn't leave a message, just love. Thank you so much. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life, Donald J. Trump, Mr. Asher.
Oh, I just turned 18, but I play golf, and he plays golf too, so I'm a big Trump guy.
Okay, so why does the fact that Donald Trump plays golf make you support him as a president?
Oh, because I don't really care what he does as a president.
Okay,
He's just a cool.
So why don't
he's a
you
cool-
care? Why don't you care what he does as a president if it like impacts you?
Because it'll only be 4 more years.
It'll only be 4 more years without 17 million Americans on health insurance and 11 million Americans on SNAP benefits.
It will, yeah. I'm not on SNAP benefits. I'm not.
Okay, but other people like you are. Have some empathy.
Yeah, sure. I feel bad for them, but
Okay, yeah. Well, if you feel bad for them because of the bad things that Donald Trump is doing to them, then you do care about what that Donald Trump is doing as president.
okay, sure. Can I ask you a question?
Nope. Moving on to
Okay.
the next guest. We got Kyle loading up in the box. Here we go, y'all. And Prism! Thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. Thank you for the $50. Seriously, Prism, it means the world. Let's see 500 Prism W's down below in that box while we get that next guest up. Prism says, regarding the quote-unquote beautiful bill, people please call your state's representatives and encourage them to vote no, especially red states. We still have time. 5calls.org. Yeah, no, seriously, guys, please call your Republican congressmen and women in the House of Representatives and encourage them to vote against the bill. 110% Prism. I could not agree with you more. We're going to get that next Trump supporter loaded into the live. What is going on? 2 Live KOO. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no. Why do you support the worst president?
Yes, sir.
Why do you support Trump, bro? Come on now.
I feel it's a much stronger face for the country than what was here previously.
And you think it makes our country look stronger to be starting wars in the Middle East and defunding
We didn't
social
start the
programs of
war.
low-income Americans?
We didn't start the war, though.
We started our involvement in the war, meaning that we started a war
So
between America.
this involvement started back when Biden approved what it was. I don't know the specific of what it was that he approved, but it gave $600 million over to Iran, who has been funding the Houthis, who has been funding most of this, and is technically one person that isn't in these countries is starting these wars.
Why are we just lying
So-
now? You understand that Biden not only kept the sanctions imposed on Iran by Trump, but he also reimposed new sanctions? But let me ask you a question. Would you say that like greenlighting Iran to start rebuilding nuclear weapons would be empowering Iran, which would be a bad decision?
Repeat that?
If a president greenlit Iran to develop nuclear weapons, do you think that president should be impeached?
I mean, yes, but I don't know that that's happened.
Okay.
And if you think that's happened, please tell me how.
Sure. So we all just agreed from this guest. We all just heard this guest say that if an American president greenlit Iran to start building nuclear weapons, this guest thinks that that president should be impeached. So you think that Donald Trump should be impeached because in 2018, he greenlit Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons by pulling us out of the JCPOA with them, which was an agreement that we had with them that forced them to stop development of nuclear weapons. And it also forced them to deconstruct all of the machinery used to develop nuclear weapons, and it forced them to give up 97% of all of their enriched uranium. You think Trump should be impeached, or you're definitely not MAGA.
What do you mean? I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I never
you
said
did.
that.
Yeah, you did when you said that we should impeach a
they
president
were
that would greenlight them
funded.
developing nuclear weapons.
I never said green light anything. Never came out of my mouth.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and prove you wrong. Watch this. We have it on Insta Replay. I love this game so much.
That
Oh, wait.
was an Green
light?
Can we agree that the COVID lockdowns were fast? You just said that they were totalitarian. To your paid guest fund. Let's support Trump. After I... Trump, bro. Come on now. Like greenlighting Iran there to we go. start rebuilding nuclear weapons would be...
A little further back.
empowering Iran, which would be a bad decision.
Repeat that?
If a president greenlit Iran to develop nuclear weapons, do you think that president should be impeached?
I mean, yes, but I don't know that that's happened.
Okay.
And if you think that's happened, please tell me how.
So I asked you, should a president be impeached if they greenlit Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons? You explicitly say yes, and then you asked me to inform you of an instant where that has happened. I then informed you of an instance where that has happened via Donald Trump pulling us out of the JCPOA, which was a denuclearization agreement that we had with Iran. And then in response, you say that no, you never said
The way that you
think we
debate-
should impeach a president that's done that. You just got cooked, brother.
No, you're technically putting words in my mouth. Biden funded this as of a year and a half, 2 years ago, when he released the $600 million that went to what's that. Ever since that happened, if you go back and date it, you'll see that everything has been increased. All the tensions, everything has increased since then, since that $600 million was given, or maybe it was billion. I don't know the exact number.
Yeah.
But when that happened, you can see the steady climb in tensions throughout. It emboldened Iran. As far as the policy or whatever it is that you're speaking to prior, I am a little ignorant to it, so I can't really speak to it.
Yeah.
But I can't say that it was him greenlighting.
Yeah.
That's very.
Okay.
I feel like that's
Watch this.
a little fraudulent.
Watch this. First and foremost, you told me that I was putting words in your mouth. I am not.
I never
putting
said
words in-
greenlit.
Dude.
That never came out of my mouth.
Dude.
You said greenlit. That if they did this, and then you referred to a policy from or whatever it is that we
Brother.
pulled out of way prior.
Brother. But let me ask you a question. Would you say that like greenlighting Iran to start rebuilding nuclear weapons would be empowering Iran, which would be a bad decision?
Repeat that?
If a president greenlit Iran to develop nuclear weapons, do you think that president should be impeached?
The way that this is, I mean, the way that you're
Yes,
structuring,
but I
I
don't
don't know that
is-
that's happened.
Okay.
And if you think that's happened,
Come on, you interrupt where you agreed. Shut up.
I mean, yes, but I don't know that that's happened.
Okay.
And if you,
You said yes. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said that you agree that
But
if a president greenlit Iran to further their construction, of
that
nuclear
wasn't a
weapons, you
green
said
light,
yes.
though, Dean. That wasn't a green light, though, is my point.
I have a
I
question.
never said, I agree that if someone goes out there and says, here, do this, like as if you were having before you reset the live, you use some examples.
Okay, I have a question.
Now, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Phenomenal. So if I'm like the governor of New York, and I remove legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns, so now 18-year-olds can legally buy handguns, am I greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns?
I mean, it is giving the ability to have that happen. Yes.
So
I wouldn't say that it's specifically. I don't know that that's I don't know that that's a good correlation. I don't know if that's a good.
Can you just answer my
example
question?
to use?
Would your answer to my question be
But
yes or
me
no?
answering that question shouldn't be putting me on the hook for what you're trying to ask, because what
I
you're
could
asking isn't
explain-
directly correlated.
I could
dude.
explain the correlation of the analogy after you answer the question. If I'm governor of New York and I remove legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns, and 18-year-olds do buy handguns, am I greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns?
You've given the ability for that to happen. It's not necessarily green lighting.
What do you think
You're
greenlighting
giving
means?
I don't know, man. I feel like it's very sideways the way that you're presenting these things. Like when you made the
Define
argument
greenlighting?
with abortion, when you made that argument
stop
with
pivoting.
the gentleman prior, I'm not
Stop
pivoting. I want to go
Define
to it
greenlighting.
after.
Lennon, thank you for the Leon the Kitten. I
Allowing
really
it to
appreciate you
happen.
so much for the love.
Allowing it to happen, but pulling out of deals that aren't necessary.
Okay, you just defined greenlighting as allowing it to happen. So let's go ahead and just re-listen to the stupid, useless statement you just made.
The $600 million that went to what's that before you reset the live, you use some examples.
Okay, I have a question.
Now, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Phenomenal. So if I'm like the governor of New York, and I remove legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns, so now 18-year-olds can legally buy handguns, am I greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns?
I mean, it is giving the ability to have that happen. Yes.
So
I wouldn't say that it's specifically. I don't know that that's I don't know that that's a good correlation. I don't know if that's a good.
Can you just answer my
example
question?
to use?
Would your answer to my question be
But
yes
me
or no?
answering that question shouldn't be putting me on the hook for what you're trying to ask, because what
I
you're
could
asking isn't
explain-
directly correlated.
I could
dude.
So you told me that no, that wouldn't necessarily be greenlighting 18-year-olds in New York to buy handguns. Then I asked you to define greenlighting. You said giving the ability for something to happen. And in the tape that we just rolled back, you defined what a governor would be doing by removing legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns as the governor giving the ability for that to happen. So you actually do think that if a governor removed that legislation, that would be greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns. Yes?
Did you mean to mute me in the middle of me speaking?
Yes, I did, because I was rolling
Okay.
that clip. So go ahead and respond to what I just said.
I was just speaking. I don't know. I guess on my side it didn't show muted. I heard myself.
Okay, I'll repeat
Yes.
what I just said.
What you're saying is yes. No, I heard it. I heard you. You just didn't hear me. I didn't see I was muted. Yes.
So
Can we reel it back though?
Okay,
Can we
now
reel it back and come
now-
back to where we're at?
Now we're going to reel it back to how this relates to Donald Trump greenlighting Iran. So we just agreed if a governor removes, right, legislation preventing an 18-year-old from buying a handgun, that governor is greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns. Well, the way that the JCPOA worked with Iran was essentially international law because it was an agreed to contract that prevented Iran from developing nuclear weapons under
If they followed. If they followed suit,
if they followed suit with
which we know that's not happening anywhere across the board.
Okay, why are you lying now? You have no evidence to justify your claim. In the 3 years
I
that
have
the
no
agreement-
evidence for that.
You don't. In the 3 years that the agreement was signed with Iran, there was 500 direct in-person supervisional meetings of all of Iran's site done by the IAEA, which was a which was an international nuclear watchdog. IAEA also had access to 24/7 surveillance through video feeds of all of their nuclear facilities. And in the 3 years that the deal was signed, they reported 0 infractions. So your claim that Iran violated that nuclear peace
Who
agreement
reported
is false.
0 infraction?
The IAEA, which was the Nuclear Oversight Committee that is international and works in tandem with America, the EU, and the UN.
Okay. What happened with that? If it led to that green light, I see what you're saying, but I don't. In that situation, it doesn't sound like it was specifically done for that purpose. I feel like this bill or whatever it was that we went through or whatever caused for it to falter, that there was back end things from what I've noticed and from what I've seen. I don't know that it's the case.
So Donald Trump did pull us out of that peace agreement. He said that it was a terrible agreement. And that agreement acted as international law, basically. And in the same way, if a governor removed legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns, that governor would be green-lighting the 18-year-olds to buy handguns. Well, thereby, when Donald Trump tore up the JCPOA, he removed the quote-unquote international legislation preventing them from constructing nuclear weapons, green-lighting them to construct nuclear weapons.
Okay, so the gray area, to your answer, the gray area that I feel I fall in and where this kind of falls in, when it's a terrible deal, I'm assuming that that's the back end part that we're not discussing in this as to why we pulled out. Because from my understanding and from what I've seen, I don't think that's what's wanted. I don't think that they want to give it. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't think it's because I don't think he would just pull out from that. I don't think anybody.
I know why he thinks it was a terrible deal.
Can you help me so that I can better formulate something to speak to you on? Because speaking to it is silly. Me speaking to it's silly because there's nothing for me really to speak to.
So he thought it was a terrible deal because it had Obama's signature on it. Dude,
I don't think I can argue that. I get it.
You go up to like any member of the GOP, any Republican congressman or woman in like 2012 through 2020. If Obama told them to go right, they would go left. Like if Obama,
I'm not going to argue that either.
If Obama literally took a piece of paper and wrote on it, "Don't eat shit," signed Obama, and then gave that note to every single Republican in Congress in like 2018, every single Republican in Congress would turn around, eat their own shit, then start like digging up the sewer pipes in DC and violently cupping the shit out of them and shoving it into their mouths until they can't fit anymore. Okay. So the only reason why why Trump pulled us out of that deal is literally because it had Obama's signature on it. So there's absolutely no defense that it was a terrible deal. It was actually a great deal. They reported, the IAEA, which was the Nuclear Oversight Committee, reported 0 infractions in their 4 years. And you can't argue against the fact that pulling us out of that quote-unquote deal, that the quote-unquote international law, then greenlit Iran into furthering their construction of nuclear weapons. And earlier you did indeed affirm that if a president did greenlight Iran into furthering their construction of nuclear weapons, you'd say that that president should be impeached. So either right now, you have to be able to articulate why it was a bad deal that should have been pulled out of, or how, right, this wasn't greenlighting the country of Iran into further construction of nuclear weapons, even though you agreed with the metaphor, or more so the analogy, of a governor repealing legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns is greenlighting 18-year-olds to buy handguns because you're removing some mode of authority and which prevented them from doing so via a structure of incentives, and how that was done identically with the removal of the JCPOA with Iran. So what will it be? Will you agree and concede that you're no longer MAGA and that you think Donald Trump should be impeached? Or do you have an argument that you could articulate insofar as why the JCPOA was a bad deal? Or do you have an argument that would somehow demonstrate how this wasn't greenlighting Iran into developing nuclear weapons, even though it removed the incentive structure to prevent them from building nuclear weapons? Similar to how repealing legislation preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns would remove the incentive structure to prevent them from buying handguns.
I would like to do more research on that specific deal so that I can better articulate an argument, because honestly, I can't speak to it. I don't know what that entire thing aside from taking away their ability to do that, I wouldn't be able to argue to it. I can't speak to it. I actually wanted to speak on, I was really, really interested in hopefully speaking on other things that maybe I do have a little bit more into, and I can. And no, I don't think that the reason I don't think that he should be impeached, because I don't think that the reason he did it was to give them the ability to do it. What them being these people are so stupid, dude.
Yeah, we automatically removed Ben, everybody. Apologies, you guys had to hear that. Automatically removed him. Good?
This is where growth is found. When you can speak with somebody who you don't necessarily agree with and have a conversation, this is where the growth is found. Then you have these idiots that do that. I don't necessarily agree with you. I like a lot of what you do and how you speak and what you say. With this regarding this, I would like to be able to formulate a better argument, because I don't know the bill, dude, and I can't speak to it. If
here's what
I will agree to this, it was greenlighting them because obviously it gave them the ability to do that where they didn't have it prior. However, I don't think he should be impeached if the reason it was pulled out wasn't specifically that. If that deal went to crap because it was screwing us out of billions and billions or screwing our people, then I can see it.
Okay,
I
so
can
this
see
is-
that he couldn't, that he
so-
wouldn't, you know?
Hey, technically speaking, if I wanted to be an asshole, what you're doing right now is called an appeal to ignorance. You're basically saying that you don't know what the reasons could have been for pulling us out of the deal. Thereby, you'd have to remain agnostic on the conclusion of impeaching him for greenlighting Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons. However, because like you've been good faith and I appreciate you for what you're saying, what I'm going to go ahead and offer to you is like basically the idea. How did you get flagged for harassment and bullying? You see that?
One of my people who probably doesn't like me was in here. That happens to me.
Yeah, man. I had to I had to remove you from the space because you got that flag. But anyways, man, I appreciate you so much for coming up, and feel free to re-request if you are able to come up with an argument related to exactly why pulling us out of the JCPOA was a good idea. But everybody, we are now going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. So if you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump. And then also, I got a little bit of information on Ben, who just came up here and said the N-word. So his name is Benjamin Deli. Benjamin Deli, that is Benjamin. The last name is Deli. Here is a picture of Ben right there, as well as he has a duck named Sir Quack III Jr. And he's asking for money on GoFundMe because food for the duck is really expensive. Yeah, but once again, if you want to see what Ben looks like or to know what his name is, feel free to just go on GoFundMe and look up Benjamin Deli. That is Benjamin. That's his first name. And then his last name is Deli. Yeah. As well as his TikTok handle is BenDeli25. So let's go ahead and move on to the next guest at this point, everybody. I don't believe that people that come up on my live and do that deserve anonymity. And no, for everybody curious in the chat, that's not doxing. Not at all. That's not what doxing is. Doxing would be the share of private information. His name nor a picture of his face is private information, as I literally got it from his public profile and a public website posted on GoFundMe. I just simply think that if you are going to engage in those behaviors on the internet, you should have absolutely no problem with losing anonymity as it relates to who you are, what your name is, or what you look like. That's Benjamin Deli, everybody. Let's go to move on to the next guest. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Let's go to get that next guest up in here. And also, like, guys, it seems to be like the only way I could prevent that from happening on my live. So I'm going to do that for everybody. I'm going to do that for every single person that comes up here and does that, because that's the only way I could prevent it. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Joke. Looks like Joke left, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, do just kind of be patient, y'all. While we get that next Trump supporter loaded in, if you are in that queue, make sure that you're at least 18 years old, you're from America, and you want to come up and have a debate. In the meantime, while we're loading the next guest in, Joe, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Joe says, thank you for continuing to use your voice to speak on important issues, also respectfully. I love you even more now that I know that you play piano. Dude, thank you so much for the love, Joe. Oh my God. Guys, can you please show some love to Joe down below in that comment section? Let's get at least 500 Joe W's down below. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your kind words. And that's cool. I'm happy that you saw the video of me busting out that new composition. But let's go and get that next guest, Matt, loaded into the stream. Here we go, everybody. Show some love to Joe down below. As well as, let's see here, Shelby, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo and contributing to the paid guest fund. Actually, I already read that one out a while ago. As well as Jackson with the $6 over on PayPal. And then Sierra, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Sierra says, I was in a cult for 7 years and watching you has helped me turn my views. Love you. Dude, that's awesome, Shelby. I love you too. Thank you so much for tuning in. What's up, Mr. Matt? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, how old are you, man?
I'm 18. I just turned 18 like a week ago.
Wow.
And yeah. So my parents both voted for Trump.
Oh.
I was planning on voting for him.
Okay. So why do
but-
you support Trump?
Well, at first I did like value his like, his views and stuff. But recently I was like on TikTok and I kept seeing a lot of stuff about like a bill passing with something about like the Pell Grant and stuff, and like cutting a lot of budget for like college students and stuff.
Yeah, sounds like you probably saw my video. It sounds like you probably saw my video because that's what my video opened with. So, yeah, the BBB that is trying to get influence to get passed through the House today will remove the Pell Grant, which is a massive amount of federal student aid from 2/3 of recipients in undergraduate university, while removing all federal student aid for all graduate students, which is a very big deal.
So you think basically like, let's say I'm on FAFSA, right? Or like, I got like a bunch of grants and stuff. Like
Yep.
all that's gonna
Your biggest-
is that just gonna disappear now?
Your biggest grant is going to be the Pell Grant. And yes, if the BBB passes, there is a 66% chance that Pell Grant will go away for you.
And then what about like federal student loans? Does it have to do anything with that or no?
Not really. You're just going to have more of those federal student loans.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to like dock myself or anything, but I live in PA, so a lot of people around me are just huge Trump supporters. So and then my parents like Trump, so I always kind of had my
Are you on FAFSA?
my favorite towards Trump.
Are you on FAFSA?
I am, yes.
Okay. I want you to go tell your parents that because of Donald Trump's BBB, there's a 66% chance that you're going to lose your Pell Grant and that you're going to be like multiple thousands of more dollars in debt than you would have been if you didn't win the election.
Yeah, no, I was actually talking to them about it today because, I saw your TikTok and, my parents, I mean, they were pretty serious about Trump, and now, like, they think he's a little, fucking stupid. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this. But.
Yeah, you can say fuck. But hey, Matt, I appreciate you for coming up. I'm sorry that you're going to lose that Pell Grant, but man, hopefully this is a wake-up call for you.
No, it is for sure. Cause, I mean, at first I did like value Trump, and then obviously all that stuff about like the grape and stuff came out, and then I kind of didn't like him as much.
Right.
And then now because of this bill, I'm kind of gonna be more loans now and all that, so
Yeah.
kind of
well,
sucks.
Yeah, well, Matt, I'm going to move on to the next guest. I don't need to debate you because I feel like losing federal student aid is probably going to do all the work for me. Let's go to move on to Caleb and Elliot. Elliot, man, I feel like it's been forever. I remember you used to tune in all the time. Thank you for the sports car over on TikTok, man. Seriously, thank you so much. As well as Joel, thank you so much for the $10 over on Vimeo, saying I wish MAGA dads would pull out like Trump did in the Iran deal. That's crazy, Joel. Thank you for the $11. Hey, Caleb, do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do, Dean. How are you doing today?
You know what? I'm doing all right, Caleb. How old are you?
26.
And why do you support Trump, man? Come on.
So no, let's be honest here. I've definitely gone down on my support for Trump over the years, from when I was 18 and his first election back in 2016. I would say there's a couple reasons why I supported MAGA going into this election. I think less of it. I think Trump's an incredibly flawed person. I think if you focus on Trump as a person, you're not going to like too much of what you see going into it. I think that's with most politicians, though, is how I would feel.
But definitely Trump more than others. I mean, you do your investigation into Kamala Harris, and the worst thing you'll find is her having a glass of wine while she's playing a game with her with her niece. Now, what's the worst thing that you'll find about Trump? Him saying that he loves Diddy, friends with Epstein, and likes young girls just like he does, hitting on his own daughter, hitting on a 10-year-old girl, sexualizing her, being held civilly liable for rape, and openly boasting about perving on naked underage teenagers and grown adult women at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA.
Yeah, I think the 34 felonies don't help either. Don't get me wrong. Like, if we could sit here all day and you could own me on the issues with Trump as a person, I think when you're voting in politics, we don't know enough. Well, we know plenty about Trump, but I think a lot of these guys are pretty flawed when it comes to those things. I think when it comes to policy and when it comes to deciding between Biden, Harris, and then later just Harris versus Trump, my thoughts were more about his actual policies, what he will do. I think when we had Biden as president, one of the big issues was, but I don't think Biden was there. You can disagree with me if you'd like on his cognitive state throughout his term, but I think a lot of the reason.
So I hear your explanation here on why you didn't like Biden, but honestly, man, I'm more focused on why you support Trump today. So, I mean, you said it's because of Donald Trump's policies. So what Trump policies are you a fan of that make you support the guy?
So I'm a fan of the MAHA movement as far as the Make America Healthy Again. I don't appreciate the vaccine stuff. I think that's a little stupid.
Dude, the vaccine stuff is not stupid. We can have that conversation. And then B, you really think that taking 17 million low-income Americans off of the ACA and taking 11 million low-income Americans off of food stamps is going to make this country more healthy? Completely outrageous. No. I mean, we see a direct correlation between quality of life, length of life, and healthiness of life with one's income, and that is a byproduct of capitalism. And Donald Trump is making the average American poorer and removing benefits from low-income Americans that they need to survive. That is only going to serve to make Americans significantly less healthy.
So with the BBB and the thought of 11 million people losing Medicaid and things like that, what is the reason behind that 11 million number? Because from everything I've read, it looks like as long as you're working 80 hours a month, and as long as you're not, it doesn't include disabled or pregnant or those under 16 or over the age of 60. What is it in that range that's going to force 11 million people to lose it? I'm genuinely curious.
Great question, man. I mean, as it relates to the 17 million people off of the ACA, it's by changing the maximum income that an individual can collect to qualify for the ACA. So the way it works right now is different states are allowed to set that different maximum income based upon the quality of life in the states and kind of the minimum wage to get by and live with the price of the goods in the states. Now, what the BBB is setting forth is a federal max cap of income to $16,000 per year to qualify for ACA. Right? Like for instance, right now in Colorado, you can make $22,000 or $25,000 per year, and that's a max cap to qualify. So if the BBB passes and it's implemented into law, everybody on the ACA in Colorado making between $17,000 and $22,000 per year will no longer qualify for the ACA, and it's going to kick them all off.
Yeah, I mean, that is brutal. When it comes to the BBB, I'm not a fan of it. I hope that the Congress turns it down. I know that's a part of Trump's thing. I don't agree with a large part of it. I'm kind of on Thomas Massie's side of that whole situation. But I do think that there are parts of that bill that do seem promising. I also think when some of this is overblown as far as losing out on some of these small hospitals and the funding that would go to them from the federal aspect.
No, the BBB is going to defund hospitals in rural regions, and that has put 340 hospitals in rural regions at the immediate risk of closure. That's a big deal.
I don't think it is in the same way, because as someone who works in the medical industry, and goes to these hospitals on a daily basis and sees the impact that they have and the troubles that they have, I think some of these smaller communities and these 340 hospitals around the country would be better off with money spent directly on small emergency services and emergency rooms, and having these hospitals delegated to the larger cities and these bigger facilities.
Well, I don't think that we're not like trading off the rural hospitals for small emergency rooms. We're trading off the rural hospitals for nothing. We're just losing them. They're just shutting down.
There's going to be, someone's going to find a way to fill that gap. I mean, that's how capitalism works. Somebody sees a need and they find a way to privatize that and find a way to put it.
If there was a way to privatize it, they would have done that in the first place, and they wouldn't be shutting down because they lack funding from the federal government. Like, I want to clarify here, man. Like there's a lot of areas where there's just simply not a way to profit off of a hospital because there's not that many people that live there. And like the cost of running the hospital is incredibly expensive because you're paying more for the medical health professionals that live in these rural areas, and there's not enough individuals that need the services. And what happens is, well, because we'll see a lot of the subsidies to these hospitals sunset, they're just simply going to shut down, okay? And it's not like this is unheard of. I mean, this happens with a lot of government resources. Like, think about it. Did you know that there's not a single airport in this country that is profitable? Did you know that? Did you know that there's not a single airport in this country that's profitable? Every single airport in this country runs a net loss on an annual basis. But the reason why they don't go out of business is because they are ran by the local governments as loss leaders to get more attraction and tourism in the area. So, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we do need to recognize that federal expenditure for these hospitals in these rural areas is incredibly important. It keeps them running. And you can't just say, well, maybe, hopefully somebody will find a way to privatize it. There's just simply not a market for it, man. That's capitalism.
No, that's fair. That's fair. You convinced me on that side of things. I think quite a bit. You changed my mind. I do think what we would see is that the needs in those areas. Sorry, my dog is being crazy.
Also, it's not every hospital, not every airport that operates at a net loss. It's actually 70% of airports that operate at a net loss.
Close enough, right? I mean, you made your point for sure on that. But I would say with that, I think you would see some of that need for privatized, and there would be an ability to privatize it if you didn't have that hospital in that area. I also think there are so many hospitals throughout these states. I mean, I'm from the state of Alabama. I can see a lot of these small rural hospitals where you are semi-far from a better facility, but I do think finding ways of spending I don't know if they're going to reallocate any of that money, but if that money could be reallocated towards transporting people towards these larger, better off facilities. I mean, going to these regional facilities, you see how bad the level of care is because it's so government.
That care keeps people alive, man. You know, go ahead.
I've seen a lot of people
go ahead and have a heart attack. And the only reason you'll live is because you had an EMT at your door in 3 minutes, and then you were in a hospital 5 minutes after that. And then turn around and tell me that you wish that individuals had to travel farther to get health, to have their health overlooked. Like, I agree. It's, like traveling longer distances for better hospitals can totally be like a good thing to do in scenarios where it's feasible, because you're not under this emergency risk of death or like immediate organ failure because of a plethora of like health ailments. But like the hospitals in rural areas are important because it offers said care to the people that can't afford to travel. Okay, like we need to keep in mind that you'll get billed for that ambulance, you'll get billed for that medevac, that helicopter. Some people just don't have cars, so they can't make it to the larger hospitals in the more metropolitan areas. And B, for the immediate emergency resources that should definitely be available to every American. Like the moment that you start telling me that we should shut down the emergency resources that help keep people alive and prevent unnecessary death for literally no reason, maybe the reason is so we could better fund tax cuts for the wealthiest among us, I just look at you like you're a little insane.
No, I get that. And I think I would much rather see a larger portion of that bill go towards money for better healthcare and less of it go towards some stupid golden dome for the country.
And that's why you shouldn't like the bill, because the bill does the opposite of that. I would like the BBB too if it spent more money on making our social safety nets for Americans better and less money on tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. If that was a BBB, I'd support it too. And if my grandma had 2 wheels instead of 2 legs, she'd be a bicycle.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, and then if we could just switch a little bit. I mean, if you're done talking, that's fine. I mean, I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to talk on the immigration side of things, if you're down.
What do you want to talk about?
So on the immigration side of things, my thought of the future of AI and the morality of a almost indentured servitude class of these illegal immigrants seems like a negative outcome to me. I don't agree with the mass deportations of those here. I think anyone who isn't a criminal should be naturalized. I don't see ripping families away as a positive in any way. I do know that the illegal immigration was stopping and was slowing down before Trump was elected, but I think that was kind of a referendum of the Democratic Party seeing the negatives of an overwhelming support in the country for less illegal immigration. I understand the people here have a great benefit. I do think with the future of tech and automation, I think I'm using that word wrong. I do believe that we aren't going to need as large of a workforce in some of these areas. And I think the future of just allowing illegal immigration, the positives of Trump coming into office of that slowing down outweigh the negatives of the way he's handling some of these deportations.
Okay. Why do you think that undocumented entry is slowing down?
I mean, over the last 12 months, it's down, 30 million over the past 4 years?
Why do you think it's down?
Because that's what I've read. That's what I've seen on...
No, I'm sorry. I misasked this. I misasked that question. What is he doing to make it go down? I'm sorry. I was asking that question.
No, I think there is a understated effect of how international actors that are interested in illegal immigration or getting to across our country's border see a new president with a harder stance on that and their ability to get across the border and their ability to be welcome.
Just the harder stance, so the deportation. So in other words, what's scaring undocumented immigrants away from entry is the fact that, undocumented immigrants in this country are literally having their human and constitutional rights violated. Like ultimately, the incentive for undocumented entry is going to be a better quality of life, plus the fact that the legal means of entry are unattainable. Now, one way that we could definitely reduce undocumented entry is if we mitigate the incentive of giving them a better quality of life by proposing this idea that they're actually going to have a worse quality of life because they're going to be illegally detained, deported without due process, and sent to a center for terrorists. And I just think that's ultimately a bad incentive structure to mitigate undocumented entry. And then even as it relates to the crux of your claim, saying that you think a reduction in undocumented entry is more valuable than the negative implications of Donald Trump's mass deportation, I completely disagree. No, absolutely not. Mass deportation, if ever undocumented immigrant was removed tomorrow, we'd see a $1.1 to $1.7 trillion reduction in our GDP, and it's estimated to cost $2 trillion in the next 10 years, plus all of the humanitarian concerns, such as having ICE agents brandishing firearms to 6-year-old kids, having them pee their pants and not offering them a change of clothes for 6 hours. I think that there's definite considerations that need to be made here about the malpractice of ICE under the directive of Tom Homan and the Trump administration, and how that is incredibly deplorable on the humanitarian side, plus the economics that I just described. And now this doesn't outweigh a reduction in undocumented entry, but even if I were to grant you that it does, looking at the incentive structure that has reduced undocumented entry, I don't want an incentive structure that reduces undocumented entry via fear. I want an incentive structure that reduces undocumented entry by eliminating the root cause of undocumented entry, which is unattainable legal means of entry. So what we should be doing instead is simply revamping the legal means of entry to make them better, so we could A, eliminate that original incentive structure, and B, it would be a long-term solution, because fear is only going to last as long as we have a fascist maniac in the Oval Office that is sending people to centers for terrorists, violating their constitutional and human rights.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. I do think if that was going to be done, then why hasn't anyone done it? would be my stance on that.
Well, sure. It's because the DNC is slow to move and to respond to the progressives. However, the progressives seem to have been winning. I think that this is a policy that is being slowly adopted by those on the left. We just need to work it more into institutional politics. Now, why has nobody done this on the right? It's because the right wants to continue to use undocumented entry as a way to get prejudiced white Americans to vote for them. So, of course, Donald Trump has never talked about making the legal means of entry into this country better, because if he did make them better, or if a Democrat president did make them better, well, then all of a sudden the issue would cease to exist, and he can no longer use it to convince millions of people to vote for him. In fact, he actively shot down a bill under the Biden-Harris administration that would have hired more judges to process more people through more courts in order to expedite legal means of entry, because it would have made the Democrats look too good, and it would have fixed the issue that he ultimately ran and won the election on.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. I mean, I can't argue with there. You know your stuff, Dean. I think and I'll just say this as my reasoning. And I'll be honest, I actually didn't vote for him. I supported him, but I didn't feel confident enough in either candidate to go out and vote for him at the last election. I'm actually pretty interested in Pete Buttigieg in this next election, but I'm not somebody who's got these, some strong opinions that I can't change. But I do think that Trump's his stance on things and the way he comes across on that immigration, I think Trump is a blunt instrument that will help move the Democratic Party away from some of their far left stances that were keeping them away from winning elections. I think the long-term positives of Trump.
I don't think what far left stances does the DNC have?
I think their status on it, they're focused on immigration. I think they're focused.
Wait, what is their far left stance on immigration?
Just allowing they didn't care about illegal immigration. They weren't worried about it. It wasn't something they were running on. It wasn't something they were focused on. It was something 70% of Americans seem to care a lot about and seem to be a large reason.
Listen, I think that wasn't an issue with their stances. Like Biden and Harris worked to reduce undocumented immigration into this country by influencing the bipartisan bill through Congress. And then the second thing you said there is where I think the issue would preside is in their messaging. I think that their messaging absolutely fucking sucked. They let the right just run with whatever they wanted. They said everything was fine. The message sucked. But man, honestly, now that you've told us that you're not a Trump supporter and you might vote for Buttigieg in the next election, I am going to move on to the next guest, but I appreciate you so much for the conversation. Let's go to get the next guest up in here. If you are in that queue, guys, make sure that means that you are at least 18 from America, an American citizen, and support Trump. We're going to go to get our next guest, Seth, loaded into the live. And Mackenzie, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying I'm a pharmacist at a rural hospital that will likely shut down to the BBB. I'm so sorry to hear that, Mackenzie. As well as Annalie with a $10, saying I'm from a city with 20K plus people. We have one hospital within 20 miles. Yeah, that's the hospitals that we need. Thank you for the $10, Annalie. As well as James with a $2 over on PayPal. Michelle with a $2 as well. Annalise with a $5. And then, dude, Joe, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Can we please get 500 Joe W's down below in that comment section? Dude, that is so incredibly kind of you. I love you, Joe. Show some love to Joe down below. Joe says, your lives are the best. Keep going, bro. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Dude, show some love to Joe down below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. Well, welcome in. What is up, Seth? Do you support Trump? And Brent, thank you for the Galaxy.
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you support the worst president of your life?
That's messed up, man. Hey, no, I do support him.
Okay,
I was, I'm 18. Actually, sorry.
What year were you born in?
2006, bro.
What month?
02, 01, 2006.
So you're 19?
Yes, I'm 19.
Okay, to be fair, you did just say that after you said that you're 18.
Yeah, I know.
I believe you. I believe you. Okay,
All
why do you support this maniac?
Okay, I'll give it to you. So I live, like with my dad and my parents and stuff like that. And my dad's a big Trump supporter. So that's all I've known my whole life, really. And that's what I voted for in November for, I think I was able to vote. Yeah, I was able to vote. So I voted for him. I was actually got early voted, so I was able to vote. Anyway, sorry. Fuck. All right.
That's a kid. If he voted, he would have known that he voted. He wouldn't have had to question if he voted. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Just give us a minute. I'm so sorry that we got people lied. That would have been a chat. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
So Future's in the middle, Baby's to the left.
Jason, do you support Trump, man?
Okay, so this one's to the right of him.
Okay, guess not. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. If you're watching, you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool. I like this live, and you support me. Feel free to support me on Venmo or PayPal, which you can find in the link tree in my bio. Y'all get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, so it'll go straight to me. Hey, Sherm, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
Let me turn the fan down. Sorry about that. And close the door.
Okay, while he's doing that, Wes, thank you for the $10. Oh, by the way, your camera's on. Just thought I'd let you know. Wes, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying I've been a paramedic for 10 years in rural and urban settings. If you need any insight into health capabilities and the necessity of rural hospitals, I got you, fam. I appreciate that, Wes. It'd probably be worth the convo. Okay, Mr. Sherm, why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because recently, I've just succeeded more in life, and I think it has to do a lot with him.
You've been seeing more in life? What do you mean by that?
Success. I'm a day trader.
Well, I think that day trading is the equivalent to gambling, and 97% of day traders quit within 3 years because they lose all their money. You've gotten lucky, and you should not attribute that luck to the president.
Yeah, anyway, but I actually am somewhat concerned about this new bill.
Okay, so you support Trump because you don't like his policy.
I support Trump, and I just don't know enough about this new bill. And I know you're smarter than me. You know, you're more educated on this new bill. So if you can you like?
Bro,
I didn't like the college.
Honestly,
really,
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna direct you to something. So I want you to go watch the most recent video posted on my TikTok account. It's 2 minutes long. It goes over the BBB. And then B, I want you to go on TikTok search. I want you to look up Philip DeFranco, and I think he's posted 2 or 3 videos about the intricacies of the BBB insofar as why it's bad. I appreciate you so much for coming up and asking that question. I honestly just think that you will learn more from the resources that I just gave you. I think that it'll be significantly more useful to you to take more away from from the content. And we're gonna move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. What's going on, user? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Dude, why? Why? Ew.
Well, let's ask a question to you. Why do you do not support Trump?
Sure. Would you like a PhD thesis paper? Would you like a 3-paragraph essay? Would you like 1 paragraph or 1 sentence?
Well, since you're on a time crunch, let's just give me 1 sentence.
Because he sucks bigly. I think that his character is absolutely atrocious. I think that his domestic policy is literally some of the worst domestic policy we've seen in American history. His foreign policy is completely useless because I think he's an idiot.
I'm just curious because you ask everybody else the question as far as why they support Trump. I want to know why, not to be contrite. Well, not necessarily contrite. Not to be contradicting. I just want to know why you don't necessarily support him, which is cool. I mean, that's America, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you asked for 1 sentence. I can't really tell you why in 1 sentence without being incredibly vague. But the reduction is his character is shit, his domestic policy is shit, and his foreign policy is shit. Bada boom, bada bang, bada.
What about his foreign policy that is something that you don't like?
Like for instance, he announced that he brought an end to the Rwandan genocide of the Congo, when in all reality he didn't. Part of the deal was mineral extraction on behest of America of the Congo, and Rwanda still is funding the M23 gang members in Congo to further the genocide, as well as we still see some Ugandan troops fight alongside and under the command of Congo of Rwanda in Congo. So that was just a big fat lie to extract more natural resources from a country that is experiencing genocide. He also gave billions of dollars to I forget the name of the country. What is it? I'm gonna drop that claim because I forget the name of the country.
Okay.
Second, I mean, all of his policy related to Israel and Palestine is also terrible. Israel says Trump, he says how high. It's not America first, it's Israel first. He's only made the conflict in Russia and Ukraine worse by emboldening Russia. Now we've seen the largest missile launch from Russia and Ukraine and the largest counterattack from Ukraine towards Russia. It's only gotten worse. I just think that he's it's an absolute failure.
Okay. No, it was just interesting just to hear your side as far as why you in some way don't support Trump. Now, let's do a hypothetical and then as an opposition to a practical. Could you do better?
Could I do better? What do you mean?
Meaning, could you
Than Trump?
possibly- Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I'd be a billion times better than Trump. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that just speaking out of your experience or hubris?
I think that speaks about his low level of intelligence and the fact that I think I am probably more intelligent and know more about America and the globe and politics than he does, insofar as what policy is good for people and what furthers this country. I just think he's an absolute idiot. I mean, feel free to prove me wrong by playing me.
No,
a
no,
single
I'm not.
clip.
I'm not going to sit here and and just
listen. You could prove me wrong by playing a single clip of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy in the last 10 years. But he just, dude, I just seriously think he's an IDIOT. I can't say it out loud because I get banned. But you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I know. I just came from overseas, and I'm just amazed on how much TikTok has limited speech on this platform. It's
true.
It's annoying. It's so annoying, and what TikTok has done just to marginalize free speech on this platform. But hey, it is what it is. So no, I mean, you get a lot of people who come up and they offer what little words they have to say is why they support Trump. And I understand. I don't canonize any politician. Trust me, I don't. I'm 55 years old, and
So why do you disagree with either what I just said, or do you want to tell us why you support Trump? I think that those are the two ways to further progress the conversation.
okay, yeah, let's progress on this. Well, me just coming back from overseas and realizing and seeing some of the foreign policies, some of the initial beginnings of his foreign policies. Granted, I did have to leave because of the tensions that were happening over there as a private contractor. So just for the overall safety for American citizens. I'm still catching up on a lot of things, but the one thing I would have to say about the strikes in Iran, from experience, it wasn't so much as a beginning to a war, because I'm sure a lot of your supporters, like Trump starting World War III. No, and this just comes from plenty of other opinions, even the British. Sometimes,
Hey man, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you here.
Yeah.
Why do you support Trump in 3 sentences or less?
I support Trump because I see the long term, as opposed to everyone wants to see the short term, Burger King, my way, right away sort of results.
Incredibly vague. What are the long-term benefits that you think we'll see because of Trump?
Economy.
How is he going to benefit the economy in the long term?
Well, the economy, as far as the tariffs, is something to equalize the trade across the board. Got to give it a minute. Got to give it a chance.
We shouldn't
okay?
equalize the trade. No, we shouldn't do that. Why would
Why
we?
don't you think we should equalize the trade?
Because it's just an unnecessary restriction on the market that prevents the flourishment of American consumers. We shouldn't have equal trade with a country that doesn't have as many citizens as we do and isn't as rich as we are. Why should we equalize trade with Canada when we have 340 million consumers and they have 40 million consumers? It really just seems like we're placing an unnecessary restriction on the market. And I mean, I think that unnecessary restrictions on the market have bad outcomes now and in the long term. Why would we want to do that?
Okay, I see your point as far as the demographics, consumers to America to there, but understanding that what Canada also has to provide as well too. And what's the big thing we've been conflicting over for years? Oil. Okay.
Oh, then also negotiations stopped with Canada. It's funny I use that example because he literally failed at doing what you want him to do.
Well, I didn't mention negotiations, and I didn't say anything on the
negotiations of a trade agreement for tariffs. Yeah, he failed. He stopped negotiations. He has. I think that he finally. So as of today, he did finally achieve his very first trade agreement with the country, with Vietnam. In the first 160 days, we finally got our first trade agreement. He's terrible at making agreements. He's terrible at making deals. The deals that he makes are shit. Like, for instance, now Vietnam isn't paying a tariff on any goods they buy from America, but we're paying a 20% tariff on the goods that we buy from them. So literally the deal is to make Americans pay more for products from Vietnam. Like, okay, fuck you, Trump. I mean, like, I don't know. Why would you say that's a good idea in the long term? And like, even if like for whatever reason his tariffs were just like great for the economy, like the overwhelming negative impact of passing the single-handedly largest, most expensive bill ever of the BBB is probably going to serve more of a detriment to the average American and the American economy in the long term. Like, think about it. $4 trillion added to our debt, kicking 17 million people off of healthcare and 11 million people off of food stamps. Like, that's not going to have good impacts. It also increases like the literal tax rates on every American making under $51,000 per year. That's not going to have positive impacts. Or even the mass deportation, which could remove up to $2 trillion from our GDP per year, roughly. That's not going to be a positive impact. Like, I think that we need to realize that this guy's shit for the economy.
Okay, no, it's just good to hear a different perspective on this, and you know, a fresh opinion. It's always good. It's always good. I'm just very curious ever since I got back, because it's just been, the dividing lines in this country have been clearly drawn.
Cool, man.
Clearly drawn.
Well, I appreciate you for coming up here. Thank you for hearing me out from my perspective. I guess I'm going to move on to Dim Slayer at this point, but you have a good one. Hello, Dim Slayer. Do you support Trump?
Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I do.
How old are you?
20.
20, and you're the Dim Slayer?
Yeah, like.
So what if I told you that I'm a Democrat because I don't like pervs and Donald Trump is a perv?
Okay, are we gonna have a serious conversation or no?
Yeah, it's like,
you want to talk about the big? I voted for Trump.
How about you answer my first question? What does a Dim Slayer have to say to Democrats that don't like Trump because he's fucking boasted about perving on naked underage teenage girls? What about that?
The Democrats elected Bill Clinton. Okay, moving on. Can I explain why the big beautiful bill?
We can't move on yet. You said that the Democrats elected Bill Clinton. Well, I don't think that Bill Clinton openly boasted about perving on naked underage girls. But B, if Bill Clinton did, fuck him. As well as C, the Democrats literally impeached him in the House. So pipe down, buddy, and respond to my claim. What if I told you I'm a Democrat because I don't like P3DOs that perv on naked underage teenage girls?
I feel like that's a bipartisan issue. Okay, can we talk about
Wait, that was not a bipartisan issue. Was Kamala Harris a P3DO that perved on naked underage teenage girls?
Oh my God, bro. Biden had accusations, and you supported Biden in 2020. Can we talk about
why are you trying to run from this so hard? You said Biden was? I don't even think Biden had any accusations of perving on naked underage teenage girls. That's not even true. But I did ask you about Biden. I asked you about Kamala Harris. So if I'm a new Dim, okay, I supported Kamala Harris because Donald Trump had perved on naked underage teenage girls and boasted about it. What would you have to say in response?
I vote for policy. I don't vote for as a person.
So if Donald Trump was a child rapist, you'd still
can we talk about fiscal responsibility,
if Donald Trump was I did not no because you're running away from this so hard. So if Donald Trump was a literal child rapist, you're
scared to talk about the big beautiful bill. You're scared to talk about
why would you accuse me of being scared to talk about the BBB when I've been talking about nothing but the BBB for the last 3 hours? You sound fucking silly.
So let's talk about it then.
After you answer my question, you said that you don't vote based upon character, you vote based upon policy. So if Donald Trump was a literal fucking child rapist, you would still vote and support him because of his policy, right?
Are we being serious or no? He was never convicted for child raping.
That's why it's an if-then conditional hypothetical question to test the logic that you were purporting to us. You told me that you don't care about his character. You only care about his policy. I'm testing that logic by ensuring that if he was a known child rapist, you would still fucking support him because it is the case.
If I look at the evidence myself and I believe he was a child rapist, I wouldn't vote for him. If I believe myself he was a child rapist, I wouldn't vote for him.
So you do care about his policy? Sorry. So you do care about his
him
character.
as a person, you mean? To some extent, yes. But can we please talk
so you draw the line
responsibility? Why are you running away from fiscal responsibility?
I'm not the one running away. Why are you being so disingenuous? Why are you framing this in the light that I am running away from talking about the big, beautiful bill when you are the one that is actively running away from the questions that I am asking you? The moment you joined this live, the very moment, you didn't bring up his fiscal policy. You didn't bring up the big, beautiful bill. In fact, you didn't say a word. I just read your name and it said Dim Slayer. So I was like, what if I said I was a dim because he's a pervert? I feel like I am well within. I feel like I am well within my right to be asking you these questions, and I'm well within my rights to be having you follow this train of dialogue, and for you to frame it as if I'm running away from a conversation about fiscal policy when you are trying to completely shift the dynamic of this conversation away from his character to discussing his policy, and then framing me as the runner because I'm not allowing you to deflect is not only disingenuous, but it makes you look silly and it makes you look scared.
It makes you look silly because you don't want to talk about fiscal responsibility.
God, I'm so fucking.
Your point.
Wait,
I'll
explain to
address
me.
your point.
I'm so fucking sorry that after talking about fiscal policy for 3 hours, I want to bring up with one guest the fact that he's a literal rapist that has boasted about perving on naked underage girls. I'm sorry that I want to have a well-rounded stream where I can ensure that the individuals watching and engaging with the stream are well informed on why his policy sucks, on why he's a morally decrepit POS. Okay? I'm so sorry that I wanted to give a more well-rounded education to my viewers. And honestly, I think it's sick that you were so unwilling to have this conversation about his character, man. Like,
because
shows
every
that you're
politician
scared.
has the accusations of this stuff. Every politician does.
What were Kamala
Bill
Harris's
Clinton,
politicians?
Biden.
What were Kamala Harris's accusations? The person that actually ran against him in the election.
Her husband had accusations.
Oh, so not her?
Her husband had
so not her.
Does the person that she married, does that not say anything about her, bro? Like, what do you?
No, I don't think we should sit here and literally try to blame it on the wife of a man who's been accused of hitting a woman. That's just another way to blame women. At the end of the day, I think that is we could absolutely acknowledge that there is plenty of women married to men that have done bad things in their past, but those men have been able to convince said women that it is not something that they have done with the use of manipulative tactics and other techniques. And the moment that you try to say that it's Kamala Harris's fault that Doug did something in Doug's past is just the moment you go from shifting the burden of blame off of the shitty man that did the shitty thing to the women around that shitty man. The same way that Donald Trump supporters do that to Eugene Carroll. And it's also really fucking funny that you're going to sit here and talk about allegations of Doug beating a woman when you likely don't believe that Donald Trump raped Eugene Carroll, even though it's proven in court and agreed to by unanimous jury of 9. It makes you sound completely hypocritical, and it's incredibly embarrassing.
You sound completely embarrassing because you're running away from fiscal talks to talk about people as a person. I wanted to go up here. I want to talk about why I support the big beautiful bill, and you're just shifting the goalposts. Can we please talk about why the big beautiful bill is actually good for the country? Because that's what's going on now, and that's relevant today.
So in order for me to be shifting a goalpost, this would mean that a goalpost was first set, and then I changed it. I have a question. Who first spoke? You or me?
I said hello first, so I spoke first.
And then who brought up the first bit of substance related to Donald Trump for pros and cons, reasons for supporting him or against supporting him? You or me?
Yeah, but am I the guest or are you the host?
Who was it? Who was it? Was it you or me?
What does the question say? Why do you support Trump?
Why do you support Trump? And this question can be framed by me asking you for your reasons or bringing up reasons why I don't think that you should. This is how these lives run. Maybe you just haven't watched enough of these lives. But now answer the question. Who brought up the first bit of substance related to a reason for or against why you should or shouldn't support
You did,
Trump?
but it's going against your prompt. It's going against your prompt.
Oh, okay. So if I'm the person that brought up the first substance as it related, so if I'm the first person that brought up substance as it relates to why we should or shouldn't support Trump, that means that I set the goalpost. So if you want to have a conversation about who's shifting the goalposts, well, then you are, because you're the one running away from the original goalpost in which was set. And it's incredibly funny and also hypocritical for you to be trying to contort that fact, gaslight me in my audience, and lead individuals astray, trying to convince them to believe that I'm the one running away or that I'm the one shifting the goalposts. Why do you have to be such a disingenuous debater, sir?
Because I want to talk about fiscal. I don't know much about the personal life of Trump. I don't know much about Eugene Carroll. I don't know much about the beauty pageants accusations. I don't know much about that. What I do know is fiscal stuff. So I'd rather talk about fiscal stuff rather than personal lives.
Right. So I've been debating fiscal policy with people just like you.
No one's been able to debate it.
So I've muted you because you've interrupted me. So when you asked me why I've muted you, right there is why.
All right, talk.
So I've been debating fiscal policy with people just like you for the last 3 hours. And you just said, well, no one was doing it good, though. I'm sure that every guest before you would have said the same exact thing. There's points in my life where I want to be able to make points too, okay? And I don't feel like that's outrageous. I don't feel like that's outrageous at all. In fact, could you please give me an argument to demonstrate that it's outrageous for me to be asking you questions about the president you support?
Because your prompt says, why do you support Trump? You never gave me the reasons why I support Trump. You tried to make me defend the claim that I never said I supported. That's why.
So the question over my head can be asking you for your reasons why you support Trump, or it can be asking how you can still support Trump in lieu of a set of particular facts that I could grant to you. Right?
No.
And the question that I'm particularly asking you is how can you support Trump in lieu of a set of facts that I'm granting to you related to the fact that Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist, that Donald Trump has openly boasted about perving on naked underage teenage girls, in lieu of the fact that Donald Trump has hit on and sexualized 10-year-old girls and said that he dated his daughter if he wasn't his daughter, and on the Epstein files. Like, man, like, honestly, I think it's crazy that for whatever reason, so many Americans are so willing to accept the idea that we should just ignore these attributes of the president and wipe them out as if they don't exist. And if anybody wants to bring up the fact that they exist, all of a sudden they're the bad person. Like, really, bro? Really? You want to frame me as the bad guy? You want to frame me as the runner because I'm asking you why you support a P3DO rapist?
Cuomo ran in the primary. Bill Clinton got reelected for the Monica Lewinsky stuff. Like, this happens all the time.
You just brought it up about Andrew Cuomo, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be a hypocrite if I endorsed Andrew Cuomo, right?
Yeah, but you probably voted for
Right.
Zoran,
We'll go ahead and listen to this video.
In New York, please get out there tomorrow on June 24th and vote for mayor. It is an incredibly important election. I'm endorsing Zoran Mamdani for his common sense solutions for every day.
Yeah, shut the hell up, buddy. Get cooked.
Oh, it's even worse that you vote Zoran. What do you support about Zoran?
Get fucking cooked, buddy.
What do you support about Zoran?
Sure, I'll tell you why I support Zoran the moment you could respond to the reasons I brought up at the beginning of this live that you've been running away from for so long insofar as why you shouldn't support Trump.
I'm not educated on that. I concede that. Can we talk about why you support Zoran? I concede that.
Okay, so you concede that. So does this mean that you no longer support Trump?
Again, I want to do my own research. I'll do my own research on L. Jean Carroll and other stuff.
Right.
I
could actually help you do the research right now. Like, for instance,
I
would you
want
ever
to talk about Zoran and fiscal responsibility, please.
Okay, buddy, if you're gonna run away, I'm gonna move on to the next guys.
You're just like, it's pathetic, bro. What you're doing is just goofy. Like, you're goofy.
Yeah,
You're goofy
yeah,
as
man.
hell.
I'm sorry. I'm so fucking goofy for trying to determine why you support a rapist. It's terrible of me.
You talk to everyone else about fiscal responsibility. Why am I the first person you're bringing up just random stuff in the past?
Yeah, you got unlucky, kid.
Yeah, I did, because I thought you were a serious debater, not a clown show.
Well, you think it's a clown show? Wait. How am I a clown show for trying to convince you that you shouldn't support a rapist? And honestly, I think that me getting you to absolutely pivot, run away, and just be shaken in your boots in front of 16,000 people, saying that you concede and you need to do your own research, even though concession would imply the conclusion that thereby you wouldn't support Trump, and I'm offering to help you do your research by playing you these clips on live, that makes me a clown show? Come on, you're just pouting because you're pissed because he got you shaken in the boots. Can't handle it.
Oh my god, bro. I read your comment sections. People are saying they're tired of non-serious debates. Do you want to have serious debates, or you want to just do TikTok clips? Gotcha.
You think it's a non-serious debate to be asking you why you would support a man that does these things?
Oh my god, bro. Can we talk about the big beautiful bill? Can we have a serious discussion about the big beautiful bill?
Sure. The moment that you can stop running away from the original points I brought up. We have a full fleshed out conversation about that. We could talk about the BBB.
Okay. So what's the one question? I'm sorry. We've been on
full fleshed out conversation. For sure. We'll start here. Do you think it's reasonable to hold a red line against a president for being a P3DO perv that has also raped a woman that thinks the Constitution should be abolished?
If he was convicted for child rape, then I think that would be disqualifying. When it comes to Eugene Carroll, there's a lot of irregularities in her story based on my own research. She didn't know the exact store of it. She didn't remember the date or the time. which is a little fishy to me. But overall, I do want to do more research on Elgin Carroll. I just found out about her. I do want to do more research. When it comes to the pageant thing, you could say that he was joking, but I think that joke is in poor taste. And I don't agree with him as a person altogether. I think he's a flawed person. I think he has done some wrong stuff. But same thing, I think every politician has done some wrong stuff. Biden was accused of weird behavior when it comes to sniffing girls' hairs and just being creepy altogether. There's been multiple politicians that have this issue. Obviously, doesn't mean I support it, but overall, I think that Trump's policies are better for the country.
Okay, so your first point was saying that Elgin, her name's Eugene Carroll, you think that she had some irregularities in her story. Your second point was that Trump was joking about perving on underage teens while they were getting naked and undressed.
Did I not say it was
And
poor
then
taste? Did I not say it was poor taste and it was a bad joke? Did I not say that?
Right. You said that it was a joke, and then you said it was poor taste and a bad joke. Okay, I'll add that on to my recap. And then your third point was that there's other politicians that have also done bad things. So I'm going to work backwards. To the third point, saying that there's other politicians that have done bad things, the conclusion wouldn't be, therefore, you should support all of these politicians. The conclusion would be, therefore, you shouldn't support any of these politicians.
Okay, and I have a hypothetical for you, right? Bill Clinton versus Trump was running.
Well, now you're moving on from the original 3 points that you brought
No,
up.
this is hypothetical.
Okay, for sure. For what one of the 3 points that you just brought up is this hypothetical relevant to?
Your point that, you can't, just because politicians do bad things, you shouldn't vote for them. Can I just bring up this hypothetical and you let me finish this hypothetical? Bill Clinton was running on the modern.
I said you shouldn't support them.
So you wouldn't vote for Bill Clinton then? If Bill Clinton was running in 2024 with the same policies as Harris versus Trump, you wouldn't support Clinton?
It would depend on who he'd run against. If he ran against Trump, I'd vote for Bill.
Okay. Even though Bill Clinton has been accused of going to Epstein Island, he's been accused of cheating on his wife, he's been accused of other weird behavior, you would still vote for Clinton?
Donald Trump not only has all three.
Doesn't that sound a little hypocritical?
Donald Trump not only has all of those accusations, but has been proven in multiple
Clinton has worse
circumstances.
accusations.
Okay.
Clinton has worse
Thank
accusations.
you so much for interrupting me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So first, you said that Bill Clinton has been accused of going to Epstein Island. So has Trump. You said that Bill Clinton has been accused of cheating on his wife. He wasn't accused. He just did cheat on his wife. So has Trump 3 times. And then you said that Bill Clinton had other multiple allegations. So does Trump. So in the pretense of a general election, where it's one or the other, I will vote for the lesser of the 2 evils. Bill Clinton seems like the lesser of the 2 evils within this respect.
Bill Clinton has more accusations than Trump. Bill Clinton has been seen on the Epstein logs more than Trump. How is Clinton the lesser?
How do we know that he's been seen on the Epstein files more than Trump when we
He
don't
was on
have
the
the
flight
Epstein
log.
files?
He's been on the
when
flight
it
log.
is the case that because the Trump administration has been hiding them from us.
He's been on the flight logs. There's still
Hasn't Trump also? Isn't Trump is also on the flight logs?
He's been on the flight logs more.
Been
And
on the
people
flight log.
accuse of him-
Dude, wait. So I'm really confused with the argument here. Okay, are you basically trying to suggest are you trying to suggest the conclusion that hypothetically if Bill Clinton had a worse character than Trump, would I still vote for Bill?
Yeah.
No.
Even though he does.
I'd move to Europe.
You'd move to Europe.
Yes. Unironically. I'm not even joking. I'm literally not even joking.
So would you vote for Clinton or John McCain? Both modern Republican candidate, modern Democrat candidate, same policies that they're running on now.
Same policies that they're running on now. I don't know what John McCain's policies were.
I
So
said-
let me know when
so
you're done with the
modern day
hypothetical
Trump-
game so I could go back to talking about the 3 points that you brought up. But I'll entertain the hypotheticals. What else do you have to ask me?
Modern day campaign, same policies. John McCain's running on Trump's policies, maybe with different rhetoric, but same policies. And then Clinton's running on the same as Harris's policies.
Yeah, this was the question that you just asked me. So, I mean, this is essentially suggesting...
You
the
said
same
you didn't know
idea.
John McCain's policies, but I was just
So
clarifying.
yeah, this is essentially the same idea as asking me, if we knew that Bill had a character that was worse than Trump's, but he ran on better policy, who would I vote for? I'll give you the same response. I'd move to Europe.
You have to vote for one.
I'd have to vote for one.
Gun to your head, you have to vote for one.
I'd let the gun go off.
You would... Okay, bro, let's be serious.
I'm trying to
You would end
demonstrate.
your life-
I'm trying to demonstrate the fact that if we just had this absolute terrible choice between a candidate with a character that is better than the second candidate, but their policy is led to human rights violations, 66 million of them. Their policy supports mass deportation, which would necessarily withhold a disdain for human rights, constitutional violations, as well as a destruction of the economy. But candidate number 2 ran on policies that were slightly better, but had a completely morally bankrupt character. They were child rapists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would move to Europe. I would say
That's not an
America's
option. The
fallen.
passport was
I'm
declined.
gone.
You can't remove. You can't move. Passport declined.
So
Citizenship
now
declined.
you're
You
just trying to
declined.
set me up in a hypothetical that is operating outside of the world that we live in. See, like you choose to support Trump even though you had the option to move to Europe.
Because again, I don't agree with Trump as a person altogether. I mean, there would be some things crossing the red line, but overall, I think his policy is going to
Okay,
save
great.
America
So,
rather
so
than
great.
hurt
You
policy.
were able to ask me your hypothetical questions. So now we're going to go back to the second point that you made. You said that Donald Trump was joking when he boasted about perving on naked underage girls, right?
Yep.
Why do you think he
With
was joking?
Howard Stern.
We could listen to the clip together. He wasn't joking. He
Because it
literally
was
said that he
locker
did these
room
things.
talk. It was with Howard Stern, bro.
So because what is quote unquote locker room talk?
No, well, that's what he said. That's what he said after grabbed him by the pee. He said it was locker room talk.
Okay, so
Well,
you're saying
it's-
that you know he was joking because it's locker room talk. So can you define locker room talk so I could see why you think this informs us of the fact that it's a joke?
He's just being facetious. He's joking.
Facetious.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
Also, I have a problem speaking. I don't like you making fun of when I'm trying to pronounce words. That's like not cool, bro. What do I mean by that? I mean, he's just saying he's exaggerating. He's joking. He's trying to get laughs.
Okay, so your
Right.
argument is that you know that he's joking because he's joking.
Yeah, you can tell by the tone he's joking.
You could tell
Like,
by the tone of his
you-
voice that he's
listen
joking.
to the clip. I know you're trying to pull up the clip
Sure.
right now.
Let's listen to the tone of his voice together.
I don't see it as a conflict. It could be a conflict of interest, but you know, it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later
The
on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that. So you have done that. Now,
Well, you
I'll
can
tell you the
also
funniest
say-
is that I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting
funniest.
dressed and ready and everything else, and you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Yeah, man, that
How
didn't
does
sound
he
like a
joking
tone
sound?
of voice that would induce a joke to me.
It did sound. They were laughing. It was with Howard Stern. It was with, and also Biden hasn't made jokes about that too. You want me to pull up some clips about Biden?
I
and
want to
Mays?
clarify that you think
Biden
he
when,
was,
when he Biden.
so,
you wanted me to
yeah,
bring up
now you're
clips about
doing
Biden?
now you're doing the but Biden game. We could talk about Biden after this. Now I want to clarify that you think he was joking because of the tone of his voice.
Yes, I think he was
Okay,
joking.
So
The
yes,
joke
we're
was in
gonna
poor
listen
taste.
to it
was
again, and we're gonna break
The
it
thing
down.
you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later
The
on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that. So you have done that. Now, tell me.
So he says, as the owner of the pageant, it's my obligation to do that. So then Howard Stern says, so you have done that.
I'll tell you the funniest is that
And then he says, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before show.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And you know,
What is the difference between the tone of his voice?
The
and,
funniest? Does that sound so like something serious? The funniest?
Well,
It really sounds like a joking story.
So the point is that he thought it was funny to perv on the naked teenage girls.
And I said that joke was in poor taste. I disagree with that joke.
Oh,
I'm against that joke.
so the joke isn't the fact that he was perving on the naked underage teenage girls. The joke is that he called it funny to perv on the naked underage teenage girls.
Yes, and that's a poor taste.
So then
joke.
you concede that he actually was perving on the naked
No,
underage
he
teenage girls.
wasn't.
He
He
just
said
didn't actually
he
think it
was-
was funny.
he was clearly joking. Was there any accusations of these pageant people saying that he was perving on them?
Yes, in fact, we have one of the women come on this live every so often. Her name's Victoria, and when she was 17, she competed in Miss Teen USA. And when she was competing in Miss Teen USA, Donald Trump would go backstage often, and Victoria will come up on the live and tell you all about this. So, I mean, listen, we'll just listen to the last 10 seconds once again. There's absolutely like no tone of his voice that demonstrates that this is a joke.
It's your obligation.
Like, let's just listen to it together.
So you have done that. Now, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that like everything is good. You're there. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So he speaks in a regular tone of voice. He says, so I'll tell you the funniest thing that I do is I'll go backstage before a show and I'll see these incredible looking women and there's no men around while they're getting undressed. They have no clothes on. And I kind of get away with things like that. That doesn't sound like a joke. That sounds like he was describing something that he actually did. And my evidence that this is something that he actually did is because he said he actually did it, and he said he gets away with things like this. Like, honestly, I just think that you're a brain-rotted cult member. Honestly, if I was president of America, if I was dictator of America, I would take away your right to vote.
I would go to Europe. I would go to Europe because I'm too big of a wimp to say my opinion.
So now you're crashing out. Oh, the crash out is starting, everybody. Sit back.
I know, I am crashing out because this is BS, bro.
Yeah, this is the MAGA cope, everybody. Thank you so much for crashing out. Crash out harder. Come on, you're being boring.
No, I just think this is BS.
Come on, say it with like no. You gotta say I think this is bullshit. Okay, actually say the word. Don't just say BS. Come on.
I'm not
Give
gonna
us a
get
little
mad.
more.
I just think that you're a low skill.
There
IQ.
we go. Oh, now we're getting there. Come on, keep
No,
going.
I just think you're low IQ. No, you are low IQ.
Come on, take a little further than that. Try to hurt my feelings.
Okay, can I bring up some quotes that Biden said?
No, you got to take it a little further with a crash out.
You can go defend him, and you can go make a pretzel.
You got to take it a little further with a crash out, man. Come on, you just called me low IQ. Take it further than that. That one didn't hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings. Come on, at least try.
Fucking muting me, and then maybe I.
Now he's throwing out the curse words. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there.
No, look. I want to have a civil discussion. I don't know why you're making me mad.
Okay, so then respond to my evaluation of the clip that demonstrated that he wasn't joking.
Me and you have a fundamental disagreement.
Yeah, but the fundamental disagreement is literally rooted in you being a fucking cult member.
Bro, you're a cult member for Biden. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm a cult member for Biden. Then why did I hurrah when he stepped down and Kamala Harris stepped up? And I'm not even going to let you answer that question because everything is but Biden. I swear to God, you people are all the same. And when I say you people, I mean you brain-rotted Trump supporters with an IQ lower than the average family fucking dog that will go to hell and back to defend anything that Donald Trump has done, to the extent of me literally playing a clip of Donald Trump boasting about perving on naked underage teenage girls, and then you say it's a joke, so then I play the clip 3 more times, I do a breakdown of every word he said, we evaluate the tonality of his voice, and we come to the conclusion that it's not a joke, and I even further justify that via the fact that he said this is literally something that he does, and he explained what he did, and then at the end he said he gets away with it, and then you continue to repeat that you think it's a joke, but in repeating that you think it's a joke, you cannot tell me why my evaluation of the tonality of his voice is being serious is wrong, and you could just simply call it a fundamental disagreement. Then as soon as I call out that fundamental disagreement as it being a fundamental disagreement between fact based upon evidence and fiction based upon emotions, you start crashing out, you call me low IQ, and you say I'm 5'7". This is a disgrace, man.
You're 5'7", bro. You need to lower your tone.
If you say 5'5", it'll hurt my feelings more. Come on.
I'm a 6'4" Chad Light. You need to lower your tone. I'm a 6'4" Chad Light. You can't be talking to me like that. Again, it was joking term.
When you say 6'4" Chad Light, do you mean like the 64% that you got on every single math test from 6th grade to 12th?
Oh, roasted. Oh. Okay, let me bring up some of Biden's quotes. Poor kids.
I'll let you play the Biden game as soon as you can either concede that Donald Trump wasn't joking, or you can reject my evaluation on the tonality of Donald Trump's voice, coming to the conclusion that Trump is not joking.
Your evaluation.
Okay, why?
Your evaluation.
Okay, why?
In my opinion, how I interpreted it with Howard Stern in a joking. Howard Stern's a comedian. He's a jokester, and I interpret it as a poor joke.
Okay, so then you'll have to explain why you reject my evaluation. You can't just say that you do, then repeat the original claim that you made a joke. That's not an argument. That's just a claim.
Stop fucking muting me, and then I can explain.
Now I'm going to start muting you for fun, bro. It's a joke. Calm down.
5'7", bro.
Dude, it's literally just a joke. Like, honestly, it's like you could obviously tell that me muting you is a joke, right, man?
Okay, real funny. Real funny. Funny guy here. Funny guy. Yo, you cannot be muting the 6'4" Chad Light.
Wait, why? I'm just joking.
Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let?
No, because I'm joking still.
You're not funny, bro. You're not. You're not funny, bro. Are you gonna let?
Not even you're laughing at it. Okay, we're gonna move on to somebody that's not as much of a cult member. Let's go to get that next guest up in the live. Everyone, just do be patient. We got FWTX loading into the live. Everybody, just do be patient while we get them in here. As well as Becky, thank you for the $4 over on Venmo, saying hi, Dean. I watched for a while now and wanted to thank you for what you do to educate those around us. Thank you for the love, Becky. As well as McKenna, I appreciate you for the $2 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you, McKenna. As well as, let's see here. Everyone, just give us a moment. Elizabeth, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal from 25 minutes ago. Thank you. As well as Sky with the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. If you're watching and you're like, hey, this Dean guy is cool, and you like what I do and you'd like to support me, in the link tree in my BIO on TikTok, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal. I get 100% of every single dollar sent on those platforms. They all go straight to me. Nobody takes anything out of it, as well as I get a notification on my phone where I could read out your name and any and all attached messages. Welcome in, FWTX. Do you support Trump?
I don't, but I love what you're doing, though.
I appreciate you for the love, man. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Oh, Dim Slayer's back in the queue. Stay a fan, buddy. We're going to move on now. We got Trent Ties 2 loading up. Phenomenal. What? I just lost access to my multi-guest feature. Boo. What the hell? Well, let's see what it was for. No. Unfortunate. We should have it back really soon. They appeal these bans pretty easily. I'm not going to lie. I guess violations, harassment, and bullying. Live move doesn't contain the content mentioned in the notice. Live access restricted. It'll be back on the 5th. It's just 3-day ban. Go ahead and screenshot this. We should have it back in no time, everybody. Hey. Bada boom. Screenshot. Send. At its Dean. Can you appeal? I have no option to appeal. All right, while that appeal is going through, I'm going to go ahead and read off a handful of donations here. Let's see. Alana, thank you so much for the $7 over on Venmo. They say that my family's full of MAGA supporters, and I enjoy the breath of fresh air in your lives. Educates me in conversations I have with them. Thank you for the $7, Alana. As well as Natalie with the $6 and the 66 cents on Venmo, saying, thank you, Dean. We love you. Our generation is making waves, and we are proud of you. Thank you for the love, Natalie. As well as AG, thank you so much for the $12 over on Venmo, saying, I would love if you talk more about the research about legal immigration. Yeah, for sure. I should make an explainer video specifically on that. Thank you for the $12, AG. So show some love to AG down below in that chat. As well as Matt with the $10 saying, these are the debates I like. Don't listen to that last guest. He was an idiot. I agree. 110%. Thank you for the love, Matt. Show some love to Matt down below. As well as Becky. Thank you for the $4 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. And then McKenna, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo, saying that you were at CMU when I was talking to Jared Taylor. That's awesome. Peyton with the $5 over on PayPal, saying thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Peyton. Calvin with the $5, saying thank you for exposing the cultists who are destroying our republic. Oh, man, I love it. It's so much fun. Let me tell you, I love what I do. As well as Leah. This was 35 minutes ago, but I don't think I ever got around to thanking you. Thank you for the $20. Let's get 200 Leah W's down below. They say, I tune in every day and think you are absolutely incredible what you do. Thank you so much for educating others. I admire your work. Leah, thank you for your kindness. That is so incredibly kind. As well as Tammy, thank you for the $3 over on Venmo. And yeah, I'll look into ways that we could promote that because I agree. And then another Michaela, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Tammy with a 3. Okay, everybody. So it looks like we got the appeal submitted. We should get that back sometime soon. Natalie, thank you for the $6 and the 66 cents over on Venmo, saying last guest thinks. Let's read it real quick. His height adds up to his IQ. It's funny. And then Disgusted Veteran, thank you so much for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. Guys, can we get 500 Veteran W's down below in that chat for the $50 over on Super Chat? I thank you so much. It is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. And then Sid with the $100 Super Chat. My Sid. Jesus Christ, coming in hot. Sid says, hey, hi guys. Hope everything's doing all right. Been missing like all the lives this week. I miss you. I hope that you are well. Sid, I hope that you're doing better. Shout out to Sid down below in the chat. Thank you for the $100 Super Chat. And of course, the Disgusted Veteran with the 50. Phenomenal. So, okay. I submitted the appeal on the ban. That should hopefully be through sometime soon. Let's go ahead and pull up the stream on my phone. If that doesn't go through soon, we will have to go over to another account to finish the debates for the day. Or alternatively, I might just end early because we've already been on for around 3.5 hours. So it might not even make sense just to go do 30 minutes on another account. Plus, I really need to go help my girlfriend. I made some burgers last night, and I think the meat was kind of bad. We both got hit with a little bit of food poisoning, but hers is significantly worse than mine. And so she's not doing too well. Yeah, so I want to go make sure she's all right. Yeah, the meat was apparently a little bad. I mean, I bought it like right before I cooked the burgers. So it was like brand new meat. I think that we just got unlucky. Yeah, the burgers were fully cooked too. Let's see. Emmanuel, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. I appreciate you so much for the love, Emmanuel. That's incredibly kind. I'm going to go and pull up Venmo over my computer just so I can read out your message. Where is Parker? Parker should be on, like, literally right now, actually. He should be on, like, any moment. Emmanuel says, do you know if there will be any protests going on in the future? I would check out No Kings 2.0. I think that there should be some protests related to that going on. I know that they were advertising it pretty hard. I just don't know if it's been collected. Or I don't know if it's been organized on, like, the nationwide scale. But check it out in your local area. Let's see, what else here? Jenny! Oh my God, thank you so much for the love on Venmo, the $50 donation. Show some love to Jenny down below in that chat. Thank you so much, Jenny. Let's get 500 Jenny W's. Jenny says, the way that you talk to men about sexual assault and misogyny is important. It means a lot to me and other women. You are doing great work. Keep getting into good trouble. Jenny, thank you for your kindness and the $50 donation. I agree. I just don't think that people take it seriously enough. And I don't understand why. I think that anybody with a brain should be able to understand why those conversations are so important, but yet you'll have them run so hard like that last guess. But no, seriously, thank you for the $50 donation, Jenny. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. So, and also Gerard with the $12 over on Venmo saying, get yourself some pork tenderloins instead. I'm not a big pork guy. See, my issue with pork is that I think it tastes way too dry. Does anybody else have the same problem? Because I have that problem. Yeah. Yeah, you guys get what I mean. It's like regardless of how well the pork is made, like you can make it and like you could like slow cook it overnight. And you could have it slow cooking in a stew. And like for whatever reason, it'll still just be a little bit too dry. Except for like pork ribs. I feel like you can make like super fatty pork rib that isn't dry. But yeah, I don't know. That's just my take. I like beef. I like cow meat a lot more than pork. Hey, Finn. Thanks for the $10 over on PayPal, and I read your message out. It means the world. Thank you. Thank you, Finn. Somebody in the chat says that's just because you can't cook. I don't know, man. I've had a lot of different people's porks. I've just never liked anybody's. I don't think I've ever even tried to make pork myself. Erica, thank you for the 15 bucks on Venmo, saying thank you for your service. Thank you for the love, Erica. And then Gerard, thank you for the 5 bucks over on Venmo, saying that Parker likes them though. Oh, he likes pork. What a weirdo. L Parker down below. As well as Angelina with the 20 bucks on Venmo, saying thank you, Dean. Me and my guy love watching your lives. We hope you and your girlfriend feel better. Free Palestine. Appreciate you for the message and appreciate you for your kindness. Yeah, I feel really bad for my girlfriend because her phone also broke last night. So she was using Windex to clean like a window, but then some of the Windex spilled on her phone. And she has an iPhone 6 or had an iPhone 6. So it didn't have like any like waterproofing or whatnot. And so the phone got fucked. So the reason that I got to go is because I want to make sure that she's good. Then we also got to go get her a new phone. So we'll go with her to find a good one. Much newer one. A 6? Yeah, dude, the 6 was holding out, everybody. The 6 was holding out, y'all. She's gonna get a new one now, though. iPhone 6, that's right. Damn, I guess the iPhone 6 is pretty old now, but they were like pretty peak at the time. Nicole, thank you for the $50 over on PayPal. Jeez, Nicole, thank you so much. Nicole says, I'm the only one who doesn't support Trump and a family of Trump supporters. Thank you so much for your debates. I learned so much from you. Keep going. Dean for President 2028. Unfortunately, I will not be of age to run for president, but maybe one day. I don't know. I don't know if I could deal with the stress of running for president. I think that I might inevitably just kind of fall into like the circle, like at the top of my career, of like being like closer with the people that are in the public offices and running for the presidency, et cetera. Like that's kind of where I want to be. I want to be in their proximity so I could like help with policy messaging, et cetera. But I don't know if I ever want to be president myself. That's a tough one. That is a really tough one. Matt with the 10 bucks over on Venmo saying that me and my husband make the best pork. I'd love to try it. I'd love to try it. Levada, thank you for the $10. Levada says, I love watching your lives. I look forward to them every day. That's awesome, Levada. Honestly, these lives are pretty cool. I look forward to the lives too. And then Finn, thank you for the 10 bucks thank you for the love, Finn. We'll probably do another Q. Like, honestly, we're just going to do a Q&A. If you have any questions, I can't promise that I'll get around to all of them because I have made that promise in the past and I've failed. But if you do want to ask me a question, feel free to ask in the chat or over Venmo and PayPal. Because I got both of those open right now. And I'm obviously going to like see more of the donations on Venmo and PayPal than I would in the chat because the chat's just going significantly faster. Let's see. Somebody in the chat asks, favorite coffee in Denver? It's going to be in Boulder. Ozo's Coffee. They might even have a location in Denver. That's going to be the best coffee in a very large mile radius. Ozo Coffee, OZO. Get their orange mocha latte. It is great. 110%. I'm in Colorado? Yeah, I'm in Colorado. People know that too. You know, I actually got a really weird text last night. So I went to like a local place, a local grocery store called City Market. And then I see this message. If you go to City Market at 9:30 and get a spread again, I'm not going to be happy. Stay out of my territory. What the fuck? Oh no. Apparently I really made somebody mad. Grr. Nah, I better stay out of their territory, right guys? Cringe. Samantha, thank you for the $1 over on Venmo. Does your girlfriend watch Love Island? I mean, I don't think so. Maybe she does when I'm on live. But what we've been watching together right now has been The Blacklist. Ocean, thank you for the $5 saying, can you talk about the BBB bean bass? I'm actually fucking terrified to live in America. Yeah, no, I would highly suggest you go watch my recent TikTok on my main account. It's 2 minutes long. It goes over my thoughts on the bill. And if it passes, I'll probably put out a little bit more of a nuanced take. And there's a couple updates as well. It's a really bad bill. As well as, let's see here, Danica, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. They say, since you aren't 6'4", how tall are you? I am 5'9", average height, underwhelming. Thank you for the love. A lot of people think that I'm taller than I actually am, I guess. When I went to it was CMU, Colorado Mesa University, they have like this anonymous like board, and somebody posted on it, guys, isn't Dean a lot shorter than you thought he was? I had like 200 upvotes. God damn it! Duh! Oh well. Oh well. You know, you get some, you give some. Oh well. Jonas, thanks for the $5 saying, I love your great work. What do you think about veganism? I think that there's really good arguments for veganism. I'm just not personally vegan, but I'm really sympathetic to it. But then again, there's just some like crazy vegans out there, dude. I have this one vegan. He's actually a creator. So I'm going to expose him. Here, 1 second. Okay, I gotta go here soon. His name is Empty Cages. I'm going to go ahead and read you guys off of some message I've gotten from this guy named Empty Cages. He's a creator with like 50K followers. So he says, anyways, PUSSSY, want to try to find a way to defend your support of the systemic slaughter of innocent sentient beings? Let's see what else we got here. There's definitely some worse ones. He just likes to call me a PUSSSY a lot. He says, you're a piece of shit that supports the systemic torture, exploitation, and slaughter of innocent sentient beings for trivial amounts of taste pleasure. Being vegan doesn't get you clout points, so why not eat your Holocaust treats? Dude, he literally calls burgers Holocaust treats. Let's see. What else? What else do we have here? Yeah, there's a lot of that. Pretty nutty, not gonna lie. Okay, everybody. I am going to go to an end for the day. Kylie, thank you for the $11 over on Venmo. And Amelia, thank you for the $30 over on PayPal. Shout out to Amelia and Kylie before we end. But I am going to go to an end for the day. I love you all. And I will see you tomorrow. Make sure to go show Parker some love. But I'm out. I got to go help my girlfriend. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.